What's up, reefer revolutionaries? It's 420 in California. This is DC 420 LA Live.
I think in terms of marijuana, and legalization, I think that should be a state issue, state person.
I think it's up to the states, yeah. I'm a states person. I think it should be up to the states, absolutely.
You know, I know people that are very, very sick, and for whatever reason, the marijuana really helps them.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Terrorists keep terrorizing.
Well, reefer revolutionaries, the good people of Oklahoma will be voting in just over a week on State Question 788, and they're getting down in the weeds. Haley passes the pot farm on the Big Island, and Billy gets his bud in England. This is DC 420 LA Live.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
Well, what's up, reefer revolutionaries and other good people that do indeed smoke marijuana? Welcome to DC 420 LA, the Week in Weed. I'm Dave Conan, and this is the show where we get together and we spark up and we talk about marijuana in the mainstream media, the politics of pot, cannabis cures, among other things and all things cannabis. And when I say we, of course, I mean my partner in life, in cannabis, in everything, Chella.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
What's up, Chella? Hello, hello. Happy Sunday.
So good.
Another big week in weed. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Of course, breaking news just within the last 48 hours. Billy Caldwell in England, he's getting his oil.
This is a remarkable story.
Which is amazing. It's an amazing story. I think we're going to play that first up. Oklahoma, of course, it is really getting to be quite the debate down there in the state. And of course, some of our good folks in the chat, one of which is Alexis Bortel. In the last couple of weeks, she supports State Question 788, and so we've been just talking about it every Sunday here on DC 420 LA, the Week in Weed. And before we get into the stories, let me just thank everybody who's watching and who's joining from all of the different platforms that we're streaming over. Of course, having a little trouble with D-Live today, so sorry D-Live folks. Looks like their servers are down. So that failed, but we are going out over Twitch. Twitch is working. Periscope, we got folks, Maxwell, Fishball, Black Boss in Periscope, joining in. They've invited folks over there. And, of course, we've got lots of folks in the YouTube chat. We've got Vegan Metro getting the snacks. We've got, MD Niles in there. We've got, who else we got in the chat there, Chella, coming in on YouTube?
We got, Real Jingy.
Real Jingy's getting ready.
Annie. That's our
Vegan Metro.
Our YouTube chat.
Right. And we've got our Twitch folks should be jumping in there pretty soon if they haven't yet. But we are streaming out over Twitch as well as
it's good to spread it around. Facebook, yes.
And we're going out over Facebook. So if you're in a chat, drop a comment. We hopefully will see it down there at the bottom. No slowing down, Zox, if you're in the chat in there. Just let them fly, and hopefully the scroll will pick them up down at the bottom. And we're here to talk about marijuana. And of course, so we originate here in California. This is a medicinal as well as recreational cannabis show. But when you recreate, you medicate.
You do.
And we are doing that here in the great state of California, which may be 3 states soon, which is a whole nother debate. But
that's a whole other show. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure no matter which of the 3 states of California, cannabis will end up being legal because they're growing them.
Maybe not the middle one.
Well, I don't know. San Bernardino is going to be in Southern California. We're the middle one on the coast.
Oh no! What's the middle one in the inland? That one.
There's Southern California, and then there's going to be Northern California, and then there's going to be California, New California, which is just going to be basically Los Angeles and Santa Barbara and Monterey.
You mean real California?
And then Southern California is going to be real California, yes. And then Southern California is going to be San Diego, San Bernardino, Inyo.
Oh, yeah, they can have that.
All those fascist
No.
counties.
They can have it.
So, and then of course, then there's Northern California, which will, of course, their flag will be that similar to Estonia's. In fact, they may even rename their state Estonia. But did you see that the city in Estonia, they embrace the cannabis flag as their cannabis leaf as their flag, because their city is actually, I think it translates into cannabis or something like that. Their flag is in our slideshow. But welcome everybody to DC 420 LA, the Week in Weed. No matter what platform you're on, we do this every Sunday at 4:20 Pacific from Los Angeles. Let us know how the sound is, if it's okay for everybody. I might be a little overmodulated. We kind of got a late start getting organized today. We're going to roll with it. Big stuff, big news coming out of Oklahoma. Some really, more debates happening on Fox Business News about how good it's going to be to decriminalize cannabis, and so much news on that front. Of course, the breaking news this weekend from Tom Angel, that the Texas Republican Party has put decriminalization of cannabis in their platform. So
what?
That's huge.
What?
The
Republicans are going to out-left us?
Where they just busted a farm with 17,000 plants in it. But yes,
Same
Republican
state.
Party.
So weird.
The Republican Party of Texas has put decriminalization of cannabis into their platform. So there you go. And meanwhile, this week, John Boehner was also on the mainstreams talking about his involvement, because of course that's the big question everybody wants to ask about. But let's play this first one. This is really breaking news, international story, really a historic story that you weren't really expecting to see this coming from the Home Office. Yes.
The
Home Office. Yes.
The Home Office.
Yes. That's where
from the Home Office.
I did my ancestry DNA to find out, about my background. Turns out I'm white.
You're white.
And
that's a shock.
49% of it comes from Great Britain. So
these are your people.
These are my people. Once again, doing battle with the Irish. Trying
to keep the Irish down.
Trying to keep the Irish down, but they apparently have found their empathy.
I like
this
the
story. Buzzword in mainstream media this week.
I wonder. Okay, let's play the story. Let's talk about it.
And close some windows because I'm lagging. But here we go.
The anguish of a mother caring for a son denied the treatment he so desperately needs. 12-year-old Billy Caldwell suffers from life-threatening seizures. Earlier this week, the cannabis oil, which eases his epilepsy, was confiscated at Heathrow because it's illegal. He was later taken to hospital, his condition worsening. But today the Home Office finally granted an emergency license, allowing his mother to get the drugs back.
I knew when I got the news that, our prayers were answered. What more can I say? I'm just absolutely elated.
And she had a message for the Home Secretary.
Thank you, but we still have a wee bit to go. At this particular moment in time, while we're all standing here, the same situation is occurring all over the UK in hospitals today. There is mummies and daddies like me watching their little ones in a hospital bed having seizure after seizure after seizure.
Billy Caldwell can suffer up to 100 life-threatening seizures a day because of his drug-resistant epilepsy. He had been prescribed cannabis oil back home in Northern Ireland by his GP until the doctor was told by the Department of Health that the drug was illegal. Today, the drugs seized at the airport were handed over to his doctors. In a statement, the Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, said, "We have been in close contact with Billy's medical team overnight, and my decision is based on the advice of senior clinicians who have made clear this is a medical emergency." Charlotte Caldwell believes today's decision makes medical history, and there are fresh demands to legalise the type of cannabis oil used to treat her son.
I think now this will raise the long-awaited issue of how we properly regulate cannabis medicines, not recreational cannabis, cannabis medicines. And I think this story illustrates why we need to do that.
Billy Caldwell and his mother will soon return home to Northern Ireland, hoping that they can now arrange for a legal supply of the cannabis oil that allows him to enjoy his life.
So that story from ITV News.
I don't see why they wouldn't be able to get it legally now. The government office gave it to him.
Oh, well, he has special dispensation there.
So I would think that that would be able to push it. I love that this story has gotten international attention, and I love that it was in an airport, and I love that the government agency had to bring them the medicine. I love everything about it. Does this mean that everybody...
Well, you're going to love this too. What's up, Straight Eye NPR? Welcome on Twitch. You're going to love this part too. This was in the Daily Mail today. Sister-in-law of Home Office minister who banned cannabis oil confesses, I have used it too. So make it legal.
Wow.
A nice little addendum to that good news story.
Holy cow, Dave.
And the family, real jingy, and the family gets to go back to living their lives free of all news cameras. Yeah, hopefully. Well, no, his story, he's a cannabis warrior like our good friend Alexis.
Yeah, I do wonder what Alexis thinks about this.
But that's amazing.
Story.
Look at this. Sarah Hurd revealed she bought cannabis oil online to treat terrible nerve pain. Wow. She has now become a campaigner for the legalization of medical marijuana. Mrs. Hurd even attended a cannabis tea party.
Sister-in-law.
Protest
family.
Outside Parliament.
Family, dude.
This is the sister-in-law of the
Whoa,
Home
a cannabis
Office
tea
minister,
party
the Home
outside
Office.
Parliament.
Be careful of the Daily Mail. Yeah, I know.
Huh. Wow. I wonder, I don't think it would work out that well here.
Which with that? The protest?
If you went to the airport to travel.
End up probably in the same instance. Take your kid away depending on what state you're in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'd just take your kid away here.
Yeah.
In England, that didn't happen like that.
They did it in Georgia. Nice. Different set of circumstances, but.
Wow.
So there you go. We'll keep it. We will know more about Billy's Buds. I think he has a company too, actually. But we will keep track of that story as it develops, as we look at all of the children. It's all about the children, they say. That's what they tell us. The reefer madmen.
Well,
it's all about the children.
Yeah.
So there you go. Good luck, Billy. We'll keep an eye on a bunch of stories.
Yeah.
A bunch of stories this coming out of the daily.
Looks like the children are going to bring us lots of good stuff.
Yeah, the children are going to. Well, that's what's going to. Children, veterans, and the pets.
The old people
are down on
the seniors, the dementia.
Yeah, a bunch of stories on the West, because you didn't even get to see the West Coast lineup.
Well, I'll get to see it soon, like everybody else.
But let's move into let's do into a couple of national stories.
Yeah, we don't usually do international stuff, but that one was really special.
Yeah. This I just want to do. There's a couple of news stories that sort of piqued my interest on the national level. Fox News doing this particular story. Actually, I think it was a local Fox affiliate, but let's watch this. It has its national implications. So it has to do with their look at whether medical marijuana replaces opioids in the war on cancer.
Huh.
Now, I know today we found out that, we'll get into the Oklahoma story, but the big quote out of Senator Howdy Doody out of Oklahoma is that
James Langford.
Nobody uses cannabis for chronic pain.
That's right.
And
marijuana is not used for
chronic pain is all over the use. All despite all of the recent research and information that chronic cannabis is definitely used by people with chronic pain instead of opioids. But here's this Fox story, which I found very interesting and put up this week.
marijuana is still a controversial topic when it comes to doctors recommending it to their cancer patients.
I think we need to be very careful in how we define the benefits of medical marijuana. And that is because there have been few randomized, controlled, placebo-based trials using medical marijuana.
Dr. Nick Spiritos, an oncologist at the Women's Cancer Center in Las Vegas, is trying to fill the knowledge gap on the use of medical marijuana in oncology.
I think the misconception is that people are using that as an excuse to get high. The reality is our average patient is 55 years old. These people are not out drug seeking. They're seeking relief for conditions like arthritis, back pain, chronic pain, nausea, vomiting.
Currently, there are 29 states, plus the District of Columbia, that have passed laws legalizing medical marijuana. But federal regulations have made it complicated to conduct large-scale trials.
When you're in a constantly evolving landscape that exists on a non-medical level in terms of political and legal landscapes of something like medical marijuana, these are the reasons why it'll take time.
Spiritos, who is also the CEO of Apothecary Shop, a dispensary in Vegas, presented his own observational pilot study to doctors at the American Society of Clinical Oncology annual meeting on whether using a marijuana-based syrup could help patients with their pain and replace their opioids. This syrup was developed by Spiritos and uses a combination of THC and CBD, chemical compounds found in marijuana. 25 patients with chronic opioid use were given the cannabis-laced syrup every 4 to 6 hours and were allowed to use their opioids only for breakthrough pain.
We showed that there was a significant decrease, almost 75% across the board, with 6 patients completely getting off their opiates, which was stunning in a 4-week period of time.
Spiritos joins a growing effort to explore whether marijuana could help reverse the opioid crisis in the U.S. Every day, 116 people die from opioid-related drug overdoses in America.
In order to get someone off their opiates, you need to duplicate that feeling of satisfaction, of comfort. And that you do with the THC. On the other part, you need the CBD to actually affect the inflammatory condition that is causing the actual pain.
Although Spiritos' research seems promising, the oncology community may not be ready to accept marijuana as a substitute just yet.
We need a lot more research to clearly state whether or not medical marijuana can treat cancer pain as effectively as opiates. I think it's a helpful adjunct to pain medicines. I do not think there are data to suggest or even show that they are just as good.
President Trump recently said he will support a congressional effort to end the federal ban on marijuana, which could finally help cut through the red tape blocking scientists from conducting large-scale trials on the benefits of medical marijuana for cancer patients.
You're wrong on the information there about whether it works or not. I think we need more.
We need more studies.
More studies.
We need more studies.
And even if that is true, and there's not enough studies, and exactly what is that number?
How many studies is enough?
How many studies are enough? Because there's, what is that, 14,000 pages or 45,000? I don't know what the number is, but there's lots of studies.
Bazillions of studies.
Just not our studies. You know,
here in this drawer right next to me.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. And how many is that? What do you want? You want a study from every state? You want a study from every university? Do you want, trials? What is it?
Is the New England Journal of Medicine not good enough?
New England Journal, what, NIH?
Is that not enough?
NIH.
Patents being held by the United States Department of Health, not enough?
All the studies that are listed in the patent.
Not enough, apparently.
Not enough.
Not enough studies.
Even Senator Howdy Doody, which I'm going to keep calling
James
him that.
Langford.
Sorry. Yes, Senator
Oklahoma.
Langford of Oklahoma.
Totally the Mika.
Even he says CBD has medicinal value.
But marijuana is not used for pain. He also says that.
But it's only used to get high.
Yeah, it only makes you get high and not think about the pain.
Right.
Isn't that using something for pain?
Isn't that using something for me? Well,
And
I think,
did,
if you clinically want to say, but that science is there. It does work on reducing pain.
It does.
So, and it's like that one just said, the doctor said the THC works, it's full plant he's talking about. They work on 2 different areas. Alexis is a full plant person.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. CBD is beneficial, but you got to use all of it. And no one has died
ever.
So what?
In the history of
even
ever.
If there aren't enough of your studies, why not just let people
give it a shot?
Give it a shot. Okay, moving on.
I do love that I picked up that feeling of satisfaction and comfort. Basically, is medical jargon for it makes me feel good.
Makes me feel good.
Makes me feel good.
Why is that not medicinal?
Well, apparently it's not. So, got it. Feeling of satisfaction and comfort. I won't say good anymore. I'll say cannabis gives me a feeling of satisfaction and comfort that I don't get from Ativan. I don't. It's similar, but it's not close. I mean, it's not the same. Anyway.
Well,
we digress.
Let's see.
Hi, Jennifer. And I wanted to say hi to Daniel Evil Sizer. Also, welcome in the chat.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome our new viewers to the show. We do this every Sunday. Getting a nice base of followers growing every weekend. We're getting new viewers, which is very exciting. Please share, get notifications, ring the bell, subscribe. Whatever you're watching on, do what you do. And then drop a note down in the chat and tell us where you're watching, because we can all see the little chats down there. We got folks on Periscope. Fishballs is on Periscope. Dr. Fish in the house.
Yay!
So that's cool. We have questions this week about all kinds of things. So we'll be throwing that. But let's take a look at what good old John Boehner, who is, of course, now on the board of directors.
Yes, Blaster Master.
Blaster Master in the house.
The only guy ever who died from weed was a guy crushed by the bales.
By 2 tons of weed. That's right. Dead Mouse Fetish in Twitch. Nice. Welcome, Twitch viewers. Hey, Twitch tokers, Periscope potheads. Would be Steamy and Stoners, but I'd lost them today, so hopefully they're watching.
Poor Steamers.
They're having trouble with their server, I think. I was having network trouble too earlier.
Maybe it's a solar flare.
Weird, or it's the throttle down.
Maybe it's the throttle down on Sunday.
Net neutrality is gone. But John Boehner is now on the board of one of the, if not the largest medical marijuana grow companies in the United States. And he's traveling around. He's, of course, you know what board of directors do? They golf. And they usually golf for charity to make it look good. That's helpful. Donald Trump golfs for his own charity, which, of course, is apparently getting him into trouble on many levels. But here's Boehner talking about his involvement in the devil's lettuce.
Myself, like a lot of Americans, looking at this issue much differently than I did over most of my political career.
Many Americans outright oppose the use of marijuana. Others are changing their minds when it comes to medicinal purposes. That includes former House Speaker John Boehner in town today for a golf outing to raise money for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Westchester. Boehner sat down with the Now's Tom McKee to discuss the switch in his position.
For decades, John Boehner was against the use of marijuana in any form. But since he left Congress and has done some research, he's now joined a company promoting the use of medical marijuana. When he came to Wetherington Country Club in Westchester on Monday, I asked him why he changed his mind.
There's a lot of evidence that it works.
The Republican former House Speaker now sits on the advisory board of Acreage Holdings. His full-time job is with the law firm of Squire Patton Boggs. Boehner tells me he was moved by the stories told of sick children being helped by medical marijuana.
When you look at kids with epilepsy and the fact that they're taking the non-psychotic part of this plant and reducing the number of seizures they have.
Then there were the conversations the Westchester resident had with men and women who've served their country.
Even with chronic pain issues or the veterans with PTSD, they ought to be able to have access to medical marijuana because we believe that actually helped them.
Boehner believes more research is needed on the issue, but universities won't touch it because marijuana is a Schedule I narcotic. So it's up to the states to act.
And then when you look at the states where medical marijuana is pretty prevalent, the use of opioids is down 25%.
But what about recreational use? In Boehner's view, the federal government should get out of the way.
If the states decide they want to do this, this is up to them. I'm not going to be an advocate in terms of what the state should or shouldn't do. That's clearly up to them.
And Boehner adds he believes marijuana should no longer be classified as a Class 1 narcotic. Tom McKee, not on your side, Westchester.
This drug is dangerous. You cannot play with it. It's not funny. It's not something to laugh about. And trying to send that message with clarity that good people don't smoke marijuana.
Smoke weed every day.
So, John Boehner has done some research.
I hope so. I think everybody should do more research. Everybody should get high if they're going to talk about pot.
He's got a little. He's already started with maybe. I don't think he drinks wine during the day. Maybe he's got a little scotch before he goes out on the course.
He does sound congested. He should move away from. He should move away from alcohol, and use cannabis more. I should send him a note. I'm gonna send him a note.
It would have been Master Blaster. He could have done something about it while in office. He only wants something done now because he's getting paid. Yeah, exactly.
Totally. But fine, let's get it on.
It would have been nice if he did a little research while he was in office. I don't know why they don't do research when they're in office, but I needed a little research.
Because it's illegal.
Found out you can make a lot of money on it. Like with the cigarettes. Make a lot of money on it. So thanks, John. John pushing the full decriminalization, as are the Republicans of the state of Texas.
Crazy.
I don't know. I haven't read it. I think the Democrats in California put something in their platform, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And I don't know if it's decriminalization. Yeah, sadistic and twisted he is. So, but you got to take it. You got to take it where you can get it. And where you take it, Hollywood's taking it. There's a new movie coming out. Christopher Plummer's in it.
There's money to be made.
Playing an old baby boomer cannabis farmer, growing cannabis in a nursing home for the patients, and he gets kicked out. And it's a road trip movie with his family, moving pot across the country. So it's in the road culture.
Movie.
It's certainly in business. He's not going to tell the states what to do. That's great. We have a States Act that says just that. Still no more co-sponsors on that one.
Whatever, sign the thing.
But who knows if Trump's even going to get a chance to sign that bugger. But it's a race. He's still going to be in office.
Yeah.
So we'll see. A double-edged sword there. But there you go. John Boehner continuing to lobby for the devil's lettuce as he tours the golf courses of the great United States. Let's move into the South, shall we?
Let's.
Because there is so much news coming out of the South. And of course, Chella didn't want me to play this story, Langford knocking us getting high. But let's just take a quick look.
I didn't say not to play this.
He'll enjoy Oklahoma's wide open spaces. He loves to run and run and run.
My mistake. That was not Senator Langford.
I would have said that's fine.
Sending out the warning to the people of the great state of Oklahoma not to vote on State Question 788.
Yeah, y'all.
But let's go ahead and I'm not gonna play Langford's stupid comment.
It was ridiculous.
Maybe later.
You can find it elsewhere. It's fine.
You can find it on DC420 LA actually.
Yes.
YouTube. I uploaded it. It's there.
Yeah.
I may play it, but let's just play a couple of these others more compelling, more informative stories about the debate of what's going on in Oklahoma. State Question 788, formally endorsed by Alexis Bortell, fan of the show.
I think it's still endorsed.
continues to be. What did I say?
Formerly.
Formerly? Oh, no. Officially. Officially.
Yes,
I think is what I
officially.
meant.
Oh, formally.
Formally.
Formally. Not formerly.
Not formerly.
Sorry, my mistake.
Formally.
I didn't hear you properly.
Exactly. That's all right. It's okay. I'm a little high, so it's all right. But here is a man who clearly has a problem with sugar, telling us all why he doesn't want any marijuana in his gummy bears.
A measure aimed at legalizing medical marijuana here in Oklahoma heads to voters on June 26, and it's been a long debated topic, with those both for and against it taking a very hard stance. Now, in part one of a special report, Fox 25 hears from those who are opposed to State Question 788. As Fox 25's Emily Collins reports, it's not a fight either side is willing to give up easily.
State Question 788 is an initiative years in the making. Oklahomans for Health, a nonprofit organization, led the signature petition drive to put it on the ballot. Groups have since formed against it. They say the legalization of medical marijuana would only exacerbate the social and health issues already plaguing the state. If it passes, State Question 788 would be the most liberal medical marijuana law in the nation, at least according to its critics. August Rivera is one of them.
We want to make sure that Oklahomans know exactly what they're getting into, because there is going to be a cost. There will be a cost to it.
Rivera is the co-chair
there
of
will
a
be a cost.
grassroots group known as Oklahomans Against 788. He and his partner recently emerged in hopes of defeating the initiative by using the very words in it.
We need to be the voice of those, who have concerns about how this particular initiative will affect Oklahoma and Oklahomans.
Looking at the 9-page document, Rivera claims its language is too broad. The proposal requires marijuana prescriptions be recommended by an Oklahoma board-certified physician. Someone seeking a prescription would only need to articulate a medical need, and no qualifying conditions are required.
Works in Canada.
It's still up in the air about exactly what kind of conditions marijuana supposedly treats, because there's a lot of conditions that people say it does treat that shouldn't. People who have those conditions should not even use marijuana.
Oh, really, doctor?
Rivera also claims the use of medical marijuana comes with risks, including cannabis use disorder, psychosis, and pregnancy risks, which brings us to perhaps Rivera's biggest concern: children. Let's take a look at the volume of pot a person could possess under State Question 788. 3 ounces on them, 6 mature plants and 6 seedling plants, 1 ounce of concentrated product, up to 72 ounces of edible product, and 8 ounces in their home.
That's a pretty liberal law.
Wait, it gets liberaler.
That's a pretty liberal law right there. That's pretty, but still, it's there's a grow restriction. But 8 ounces in their home, 3 ounces on them. Okay. And, okay, let's continue. We'll talk about it.
Laying 72 ounces of gummy bears on the table to represent edibles, Rivera makes a point.
Makes a point that he had to go buy far too many gummy bears.
A lot of gummy bears this guy likes.
And,
there are ways around it looking like gummy bears.
Sugar kills.
Yeah, sugar is the problem.
This to a kid, I mean, if this is actually, they're not going to know the difference. Right. They're not going to know the difference.
Rivera's mission is simple: prevent abuse and debt from that abuse.
Before heading to the polls, tell everybody a bunch of bullshit.
He urges every voter to read what they're voting for.
Well, debt from the abuse.
Read it. Then
okay, wait, here's the good part coming up.
Make that decision on whether or not you as a person are willing to have your community, your family, and the state of Oklahoma pay the price for this decision.
As opposed to
if you're okay with that, vote your conscience.
The State Chamber and the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber also oppose State Question 788 because they say it could potentially tie businesses' hands when dealing with employees who use medical marijuana. But not everyone agrees, and they have a whole list of reasons why. Emily Collins, Fox 25 News.
That's the most interesting
part. In part 2 of the special report tomorrow, Fox 25 breaks down the pros of State Question 788. From those who say it will not only help save lives, but give Oklahoma the boost that it needs to thrive.
Indeed. But let's see what that good old state commerce had to say about their issue with those darn high employees that are perfectly fine with getting shit-faced during the football game over the weekend.
Or just when they go home.
The Greater Oklahoma City Chamber hosted a forum on the medical marijuana state question and its potential impact on businesses in Oklahoma. The Chamber Forum on Tuesday, on State Question 788, was held at the Devon Tower, and included on the panel were Pat McFerrin, State Representative Cindy Munson, State Senator Adam Pugh, and Mark Van Landingham. Chamber President and CEO Roy Williams shared his thoughts following the forum.
Our organization is not against medical marijuana, but in reading the particular information on this initiative, this is not medical marijuana. This is recreational marijuana. And the imposition that it will create on an employer's inability to have really a drug-free business, this isn't going to allow that. We're also very concerned that depending on how this works its way potentially through the courts, if it does pass, that it may open up a lot of private businesses to where people could be smoking in them, whether it's the arena, whether it's parks, whether it's hotel rooms, whether it's restaurants. So that's what really concerns the business community.
What concerns him? Another income stream for businesses?
New businesses opening?
New businesses? The Chamber of Commerce?
Like cannabis bars?
And you know, you let people drink on the job?
Yeah, is that normal? Is that acceptable in your line of
Is that
work?
what you do? You let people drink on the job?
Drink at work?
Or just at home, or at home when they get off of work, or on their lunch hour?
No, but what I do think is probably in there, my interest was really piqued by it ties the employer's hands for like a drug-free workplace. That is the most interesting thing to me. If we have any Oklahomans, anybody in Oklahoma who knows more about it, or works in a place that has drug testing, this State Question 788 might be of particular interest to you.
Well, it is definitely, both sides say it is one of the most patient-friendly.
Liberal, they said. Everyone agrees it's the most liberal cannabis law, potentially, on the books.
They agree with that, and that is a great house party.
That's awesome.
As said, who was that? Jennifer that said that? Jennifer or Deanne said that's just a good house party. That list of stuff: 3 ounces of weed, 72 grams of edibles. And I'm with you. I'm with you on that. That's a pretty good party. Pretty good party right there. So
totally pure fear mongering. But they have another piece. This channel.
Before we play that, let me just say this.
Yeah.
That might be a nice little segment for our 5 minutes, or part of it is that every commercial on TV tells you to go tell your doctor.
Yeah.
To give you a pharmaceutical.
Mm-hmm.
Ask your doctor if it's right for you.
Yeah.
Tell your doctor. Tell your doctor. Tell your doctor.
With 10,000 side effects.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to call anal leakage and possible death.
Yeah.
So, this nonsense is that anybody can just go to a doctor and say, I need medical marijuana I heard that's good for this. Can you write it for me? That's how our big pharma marketing system works.
Yeah, this should be normal.
Illegal. I mean, we're the only one of 2 countries that do it in the world, but it's,
it's crazy.
To use that argument is a straw man. I think if I'm using that correctly, because big pharma uses that. You tell your doctor to find out ask them if it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So nobody dies. To have your doctor give, and chronic pain. There it is again. Chronic pain was in that story. I think it was. Chronic pain is in every story. Langford.
Check out the other side of the coin from the same news outlet.
Well, yes, day 2.
The next night.
Day 2, they did the opposing the pro view.
Pro State Question 788,
and
Oklahoma.
It was good as well. So let's take
Fox
a look.
News 9.
This was not. Is it Fox News 9? No.
Yeah.
Question 788, a measure aimed at legalizing medical marijuana here in Oklahoma, say that it's written by the people for the people. In their words, it's designed to make Oklahoma the most patient-oriented and business-friendly state for the medical marijuana industry. In part 2 of a special report, Fox 25's Emily Collins makes her way around our state and to Colorado. She has your back tonight with why many say a yes vote is the way to go.
Supporters argue that legalizing medical marijuana will help patients in need, create jobs, and produce sorely needed tax revenue. But most importantly, they say State Question 788 is so uniquely written, it will put Oklahoma ahead of the rest. Built on a grassroots foundation, State Question 788 is the product of 5 minds who came together for one purpose: to help legalize medical marijuana in the state of Oklahoma.
We didn't have any money, we didn't have attorneys, we didn't have anybody to really lean on for, how do you do this type of thing or write this type of law.
Chip Paul is one of the founders of Oklahomans for Health. Since the group's inception in 2014, Paul has toured several states with medical marijuana programs in search of what does and doesn't work. The information he gathered became the basis for the legal structure of State Question 788. Paul says there are 3 principal tenets. First, the law puts the burden on the physician without putting restrictions on what conditions marijuana may be prescribed for. It also would allow individuals to apply for a license to grow and buy marijuana.
If you're a medical marijuana patient, you should have the right to basically grow your own medicine. And that's a very important thing in 788.
In February, Fox 25 introduced you to Amy Borland Hilterbrand from Choctaw, Oklahoma. Her eldest son, Austin, has suffered for years from severe epileptic seizures. With no other medical options available, Hilterbrand and her family moved to Colorado in 2014.
We didn't find any pharmaceuticals that would stop Austin's seizures, but the cannabis does.
Hundreds of other families have moved to Colorado for the same thing. Kelsey and Patrick Allen made the trek all the way from New England after their son Jonah was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor.
We've done no chemo, no radiation. We have only done cannabis. Oil in his diet are the only 2 major changes we've done, and the tumor's gone. It's pretty much gone at this point.
Sally Vanderveer, president of Medicine Man Dispensary in Colorado, hears stories like this every day. Vanderveer's brothers started the family-run business 9 years ago. They now have it down to a science.
The amount of licensees that we have, there's not a lot of difficulties going on in Colorado. It's very controlled.
If 788 passes, Paul believes this same business-friendly atmosphere will eventually evolve across Oklahoma.
Under our law, if you want to get in the medical marijuana business, you can do so, and you can do so for not millions of dollars, but for an amount that most Oklahomans can afford.
Statewide polling shows over 70% of Oklahomans endorse access to medical marijuana. State Question 788 would make that a reality. It's now up to you, the voter, to decide. You'll have an opportunity to cast your vote in the primary election on June 26th. Emily Collins, Fox 25 News.
What's that?
Oh my God, they could totally do it. It's a primary. Like, nobody votes in a primary.
That's correct.
You guys, if we wanted to throw our energies in for a few days this week, or a few hours this week, I bet anything that the say yes on 788 would take us calling and texting voters in Oklahoma to try to get them to pass this, because this would be amazing.
Yeah, the law is actually, they're right. It's very progressive.
Very progressive. That you could be able to be a medical marijuana user and not lose your job would be pretty amazing.
After a really good party.
I'm just saying.
And
the nurses at my mom's nursing home can't use it.
Grow your own medicine.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm sure there'll be limits. I'm sure the cities will put on plenty of fees. I'm sure all that'll be in there because they're going to want their quan.
You got to render to Caesar.
They're going to want their quan. They're rendering.
Yeah.
But because it's, I predict. Here's a DC 420 LA prediction. The politics of pot and cannabis 2018. This bugger's going to pass big. But
I think I might actually make phone calls for this.
We should make sure that it happens.
We really should try to do that. I'm going to report that I made some phone calls this week.
They are pumping a lot of money into this. And these guys, I think it's funny. These, they've been planning this law for years.
Planting the seeds?
Planting the seeds. The grassroots organization that has been working on this has looked to see what works, what doesn't work, what's good, what's not good, comes up with a great idea. And then all of a sudden, within the last year, all the prohibitionists create their organizations and get on board. That guy is a member of a 2-man organization, him and his partner, that started last year. And they've, that and a couple other places, a couple other folks, like apparently the Chamber of Commerce, which will change their tune.
Oh, yeah.
They will change their tune.
Ching, ching, ching.
And and now there's the story was this week, there's $450,000 pouring into the anti side. So, let's do that. Let's make that we've got a week and a half. It's a week from Tuesday. It's a primary election. Nobody comes out for primaries.
Nobody.
It's how Ted Cruz became a senator, essentially. More conservatives come out in primaries.
We can do this.
But there's a lot of conservative support for this. There's a lot of freedom issues with this. And the children will die. If you eat that many gummy bears,
it'll kill your kid.
You will die. Because your parents will kill you.
Non-medicated gummy bears.
I'm not talking about cannabis gummy bears.
Yeah.
I'm talking about those bags right there. That's basically a good haul for Halloween. And your kid will be in a sugar coma and maybe dead because your mom killed him. But
all right.
So there you go, Oklahoma. Did we have another Oklahoma story? We do, actually. Let's go to the next one.
This is not going to cause society to fall off the...
Oh, yeah, the barbershop.
Hey, Bob, come on in.
On top of a great haircut, folks at Indian Springs Barbershop serve up a slice of Americana.
Trey, I'm going to take a little more off the top. A little more off the top? Yeah. Okay.
The day starts with a strong cup of coffee and a healthy debate.
Big Pharma doesn't want anything you can grow in your backyard, okay?
Today, it's medical marijuana.
I'm opposed to that. So, that's where I stand.
Ray Jennings is in the heart of it.
You were raised the same way I was, Danny, and I understand where you're coming from.
I know a lot of those stoners too, guys.
When Jennings faced off in the fight for his life, he picked an unusual sidekick. Pot.
If you would have told me 4 years ago that you'd be sitting in my house and we'd be having this conversation and I'd be on this side of it, I'd say you're smoking some of that wacky stuff.
He says that wacky stuff helped him fight cancer and could help Oklahoma as well.
We realize that the state needs additional funding in a lot of areas, but education's certainly hurting more than any of them, as far as I know.
But can medical marijuana really swoop in and save education?
The people who campaigned to make it legal to buy this bag of marijuana promised millions, and they did deliver.
To answer that question, we turn to Brandon Rittiman. He's a political reporter at KUSA in Denver.
It added up to $40 million on school construction projects last year.
And says when Coloradans heard the pitch for recreational pot,
that marijuana tax only amounts to 1.3%.
It was all about education.
It is going to raise some money. It is going to allow the state to do some things. It is not going to allow you to pave the streets in gold. It is not going to allow you to double the salary you're paying to every teacher in your state.
Sure, hundreds of millions of tax dollars have been poured into Colorado.
All told, you pay $8.47 in taxes on this baggie, an effective tax rate of 30%.
But most of that money isn't going to education, only around $40 million a year.
One thing that I think gets lost in the debate over marijuana is we've now got this, around $1 billion a year industry that we didn't have before in the state. And it continues to grow even though other states are legalizing it.
Based on other states with their population, based on our size, we feel like that to say $80 million is a reasonable number.
In Oklahoma, Jennings estimates anywhere from $60 to $80 million will be set aside for education if medical marijuana is legalized. That number isn't enough to change education funding, but it won't hurt either. But history shows us sometimes money isn't always put where it's promised.
It's in all of our interest to get our legislature in check. And if that means we got to roll some heads down there, we got to roll some heads down.
At the barber shop,
I honestly have to say I'm glad he's in here because he's got an opinion about it.
They aren't solving all the world's problems here.
And somewhere, if I got to be the only guy on this planet, I'm saying no to it until you come up with a better law.
But it's a start.
On an extract from the cannabis plant. When I found that out,
You're a good man.
I felt so betrayed.
Thank you for your part in the discussion.
Maureen Wirtz.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Look at that set, babe.
That barbershop set,
That's pretty wild, huh?
it's really
And
wild.
those characters, they're all straight out of Central.
Like, that's amazing, that place.
If you were going to cast a
They're so white.
Southern white barbershop,
That's amazing.
that would be it.
Look at the pew bench. I don't know.
That
I
bench
don't
is
know.
all, the bench, the couch.
But this doesn't necessarily, I don't know. Does this
Listen,
necessarily have to
but
be a white
no,
barbershop?
I tell you what, you change a
This
couple.
could be
You change a couple of posters, and you change the cast.
all the cast?
and it's in Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, or Georgia.
Or Georgia, or rural
Hollywood.
rural Alabama.
This could be in
I mean,
LA
well,
easily.
I mean,
This
you got to
could
change
totally
the
be
actors
here.
and you got to change the accent, but it really could be anywhere. It's pretty good. I mean, that's
I like it as the
barbershop,
beginning
I
of a movie where a bunch of old white men start to get high. And they change their evil ways and realize how stupid they've been their whole life.
Well, you know, their day starts with a strong cup of coffee and a bowl of
And a dab.
finest
I said dab.
Oklahoma's finest organic cannabis starting next year.
That's right. 2019.
So, there you go. Sorry, Senator Langford.
Howdy doody.
He's gonna vote. They're gonna do whatever they can to bar it.
Well, we're going to do whatever we can to
we're gonna
get it going. We want to take their jobs.
Don't want the devil's weed.
We want everyone to use the devil's lettuce for whatever
freedom,
they
people.
want to use it for.
Freedom. And this looks like a good. I'm gonna read the law now.
This is something good to pour one's political
'Cause
energies into.
if I'm gonna make some phone calls, I better read the law.
Yeah, because I especially want to focus on the freedom of an employee to be able to take the medicine they need to feel better, whatever that means, at the end of the day, and still be able to have their well-paying, maybe union job, because that's a thing. That's a thing, and that's what I would focus on. That's what I will be focusing on when I make my calls this week for Yes on 788, State Question 788.
And we are indeed done with
Oklahoma!
And we're gonna move into.
She was the darling.
Who's that?
She was the darling of the week, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma was the darling of the week.
But Texas, not to be...
Well, we're not going to do Texas.
Oh, we're not?
Well, Texas,
that one story.
That was breaking news at the convention this week. It's not even in the news yet. Nobody's done a
There's
news
no
story on
news.
yet because it came out this week. Marijuana
there's a
moment.
piece.
Tom Angel's the only one that broke that. The GOP putting cannabis into their.
And the Daily Dope has a nice chat about it.
That's true. Daily Dope put one up today. Did a
Yep.
20-minute talking about
Yep.
it. Daily Dope. We'll put the link in.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not in the mainstream media yet. It will be next week, I'm sure. So, and of course Langford, he was on the weekend shows talking about that. And I'm not going to play him. We're going to go into Florida because we're going to move this. We're going to keep this show moving.
We're going to keep it
We're
moving.
gonna keep this show moving.
We're
right,
not
guys?
going to show a story about a 62-year-old Florida man who was growing weed and got out on bail. But he's a good white guy growing weed in Florida.
And thinks he deserves everything he gets.
But he qualified for $53,000 in bail.
But here's of course. But I'm sure he's got a lot of that weed money. But here's the thing, you have this continued dichotomy of just the mental gymnastics you have to go through where these people are getting rounded up by local law enforcement. They're not even talking about feds, not even talking about national DEA. That's down. These are local, guys that are doing these busts, county guys and city guys that are doing these busts. A lot of it is because of corporate cannabis. A lot of it is because of leftover, black
Reefer
market.
madness.
And a lot of it is guys do like this who are trying to make a difference, or like that in that story we're not going to show, about this old guy trying to grow some weed for his friends, which they just made a freaking movie about. That's true. Starring Christopher Plummer. This guy, I'm going to play the damn story.
A Florida man.
Here it is. I'm going to play the story.
We've been talking about it for 5 minutes. We might as well.
Christopher Plummer.
New at 4 o'clock, it's the biggest marijuana seizure Navarro County authorities can remember. Sheriff's deputies found more than 17,000 plants west of the town of Angus, about an hour south of Dallas. J.D. Miles is live at the sheriff's office in Corsicana with what he's learned.
Wait, wrong story.
Sorry, wrong story.
That was a Texas bust.
Well,
17,000. I think I dumped the Florida one because we weren't going to do it.
That's fine. Keep going with your Texas pot bust. Then we can talk about the Texas Republicans again.
Oh, we're still okay. Well, we're moving to Florida. We'll move into Texas then and do that.
Yeah, this is the Texas pot bust.
Okay, I'm going to play that video, and then I'm going to.
Hey, breaking news! There was a pot bust in Texas.
Yes, breaking news.
Shocked.
Let's watch that. I'm going to find that.
New at 4 o'clock, it's the biggest marijuana seizure Navarro County authorities can remember. Sheriff's deputies found more than 17,000 plants west of the town of Angus, about an hour south of Dallas. J.D. Miles is live at the sheriff's office in Corsicana with what he's learned today. That's a big bust, J.D.
It sure is, Ken. The marijuana field about 10 miles south of here was growing in such a remote area, the sheriff's office still hasn't determined who the property owner is, but the sheriff tells me he doesn't believe the property owner was aware of a large marijuana field that may have been secretly operating for at least 4 years. The sheriff figured that out by using old Google Maps to look at aerial photos of the site off County Road 30 between Angus and Corsicana. A tip led authorities to the location, where they flew a drone over the site and confirmed the marijuana field. The seizure began at 5:30 this morning. 17,500 marijuana plants growing about a half mile off the road. They were gathered up and loaded onto a truck to be stored as evidence if anyone is ever prosecuted. The sheriff says there's evidence that people were living at the site at times on the property.
We found numerous campsites there at the scene. We found food products. We found camping gear. We found everything that would be necessary to be able to exist there and tend those plants as the growing operation is being conducted.
Now, there's a creek that runs through the site, and we're told that the drug growers actually conceived a makeshift irrigation system to water the marijuana plants. You may be wondering why authorities didn't just stake out this property and wait for someone to come back and make an arrest. We'll answer that question coming up at 6. Live in Corsicana, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
J.D. Nobody cares about your fascist follow-up.
Yeah.
4 years they didn't know that place was there.
I hope they hang those plants upside down.
Every time they raid a community, too, it's like, we had no idea there were 100 homes in here being used as a cannabis grow.
Hang the shit upside down, please.
It all comes when, don't piss off your neighbors, essentially what this means. Because they all come from some pissed off neighbor.
Be good to your neighbors.
Keep your neighbors in weed.
Yeah. Or the equivalent if they're not weedy.
4 years of Google Maps. Google. Google.
But meanwhile, in Texas this weekend.
While they're rounding up that 17,000 acres of pot.
Yeah. No.
What was it? 17,000 plants.
Yeah. 17,000 plants.
17,000 plants. Meanwhile, the Texas Republican Party endorses marijuana decriminalization.
Which is wild, huh?
Wild. Which is pretty wild. No, it's not actually. It's wild that they are. Yes, it's wild that the Republican Party is doing that in Texas, but it's legal in California, and these raids are happening all the time.
Yeah.
The illegal industry doesn't like the homegrown industry, if you will.
Which is why we should all help to push this State Question 788.
Yep.
Because it allows for all the good things.
So marijuana and the man in Texas, as they battle and their medical marijuana program, and see where if they're going to move towards recreational, probably not anytime soon. I don't think it's not anywhere close. But meanwhile, in Florida, here's that story
the
about
Florida
the guy
man
who could be played by
New right now at
Christopher
5,
Plummer.
the Brevard County Sheriff's Office got a tip that a 64-year-old man was using his home for a marijuana grow operation.
That led to an investigation and yesterday a search warrant for the suspect's Lake Washington Road home. Deputies say they discovered more than 100 plants there. Channel 9's Melanie Holt live at the jail, and Mel, investigators say the suspect had some pretty interesting things to say about all of those plants.
Among other things, they say the suspect told them that he was growing that marijuana for someone so she didn't have to buy it from someone dangerous. In a home down this long, unpaved driveway on Lake Washington Road, Brevard County Sheriff's investigators say they dismantled a marijuana grow operation yesterday. They say they found 106 plants, plus 3 jars and 3 bags with contents which field tested positive for cannabis.
There was a sheriff's crime scene van down at the other property, okay? And there was a bunch of what I'd call them civilian, regular cars, not marked cars.
He smokes.
Parked between here and there, and then there was a
That's
a
where he used
sheriff's
to buy
car
his
and a
weed.
sheriff's truck and another van
Inserting
in front
himself
of that I
into
could
the
see
investigation.
down at the end of this driveway yesterday.
According to court
Yeah, I got-
documents, the
I got
plants
a-
were
I got a dime
divided
back
into
from
3
him every
different rooms,
weekend.
and each room was in a different stage of growth. The 64-year-old suspect, Ted Taylor, allegedly told arresting deputies on Tuesday that he deserved everything he got today.
And you said you're going to be able to hire your own attorney? Yes, sir.
Taylor is currently facing charges for possession, production, and trafficking of marijuana.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Taylor. Thank you, sir.
The suspect was granted
Throw the
a
book at him.
$54,000 bond in that case today. We are reporting live from the Brevard County Jail. Melanie Holt, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
That's civil disobedience in Florida. It's freaking bullshit.
Well, he's not serving time for not being able to get out of jail for no bail.
Yeah, somehow he was able to come up with $53,000.
Yeah, or 5,000 or whatever.
Poor old white guy.
All that weed money. But yeah, that was so there you go.
I think you
starring
guys-
Christopher Plummer
Yeah.
as the old white guy
Drug runner.
drug runner.
Guys, I think you're totally onto something in the chat. All confiscated weed needs to be redistributed to the people. Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dig it. Free the weed. Free the weed. Free the people. Free the plant. Free the people. But that's not a bad idea in the legal states, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you tell you when you sit in the van. Hang it upside down.
Yeah. Hang it. Hello.
Don't just throw it
Hang
in there.
upside down.
It'll get mold on it.
Fuckers.
Mildew. You got to hang it upside down so it dries properly.
All right, next.
They know that.
Moving on. Tennessee hemp supply.
Oh, is that our next story? Look at you with
Yes.
the notes.
Yeah, I did some
Nice.
homework. Telling the people I didn't do any homework.
New at 4 o'clock.
I did homework.
New at 4 o'clock. New at 4:20. We're gonna move into where are we
Tennessee
moving
hemp
into?
supply. Tennessee hemp supply.
The Tennessee hemp supply.
Listen, growers, we need your help. Dr.
we-
Fish, people, help
Okay,
us understand.
Well, watch this story about
Yeah,
industrial hemp
yeah. This is industrial hemp.
for CBD in Tennessee.
Tennessee. Check
The
it out.
first hemp dispensary is open in Tennessee, and people are flocking to the Murfreesboro store to see if the cannabis plant can help with their pain. News Channel 5's Kimberly Davis talked to some customers who left the store feeling much better.
If you're looking for pain relief and if you're looking for relaxation without any psychoactive effects, then industrial hemp might be for you.
Yeah, I like it. I feel loose. I feel very loose already.
That's less than 5 minutes.
Imagine waking up in pain every morning.
We also have water-soluble CBD.
But with the help of Mother Nature, that pain could be greatly reduced. Customers who ventured into Tennessee Hemp Supply say they found relief for their pain.
I feel very relaxed. Usually, like I do a lot of physical work. I'm usually tensed up all the time. That I actually feel loose.
Tennessee Hemp Supply is located at 1370 West Clark Boulevard in Murfreesboro, and it's the first hemp dispensary in the state. Back in February, nearly 24 stores were padlocked in Operation Candy Crush. Rutherford County store owners were accused of selling illegal CBD products, but only CBD is legal. Those stores have since reopened, and Tennessee Hemp Supply owner Trinity Mealer says That's part of the reason why he chose Murfreesboro.
They've already been through the battle, seen that this is legal, and they've actually welcomed us in open arms.
Trinity tells us he's heard countless success stories, but the most heartwarming is when his product can relieve a child's pain.
It's been quite emotional, honestly. When people receive the benefits of it and they come back to us and report that kids feel better, rashes are gone.
So if you're dealing with pain, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, or simply just want to relax, think about giving hemp a try.
What is the value of no side effects and pain relief? You know,
those are buds.
Priceless, just about.
Kimberly Davis, News Channel 5.
The store sells hemp from Tennessee farmers and has less than 0.3% of THC in it. The June 23rd is actually the official grand opening, and anyone who comes in that day will receive 15% off.
Those really look like buds.
Tennessee in...
But what do I know? I guess I didn't realize that industrial hemp buds look just like pot buds.
So
cannabis,
here's
like
the
real
thing.
weed. Oh my God. You guys.
They call it industrial hemp.
My mind is all blown right now.
They call it industrial hemp. That is not industrial hemp. Pretty sure.
That just looks like weed.
Where's the other pictures of this?
It's not often that we're stumped.
No, what this is, I know what this is.
I'm a little stumped.
I know what this is.
How did they get the good weed in Tennessee?
They have a similar program to, there we go. Those are buds. This is high resin medicinal hemp. This is not industrial, quote, industrial hemp.
High resin what?
This is what the universities and the state agricultural programs in Kentucky and in Colorado,
high resin hemp,
do and grow. As she said at the end of it, this is from Tennessee farmers. They passed a bill. Basically, they passed a law to do research with medicinal hemp under 0.3 THC. They've been able to do in in these states like Colorado that have created strains like Haley's Hope, Charlotte's Web. These are the low THC cannabis plants that are bred to have high resin, medicinal CBD, and very low THC. Now that guy looked pretty chill. But if you smoke one of those plants that has a high medicinal CBD, you will probably not get a headache. You're going to get a calming effect. I think that's the idea of that. But if you smoke the rope shit, industrial hemp, you're going to get a headache. So that's not what that is. That is high resin medicinal CBD hemp that is grown under a agricultural or educational program with the state of Tennessee and their farmers. And that's the real deal. That's the real medicinal hemp.
That's the hemp.
I'm pretty sure is what that looks like. But so that looks like buds. Yeah, they're high resin, and I'm pretty sure that your typical industrial hemp that you get from China and you make, cloth from and get, hemp seeds and hemp oil and some CBD, you need a lot of it to get CBD out of it. But it's not as high resin and high quality as what's in these plants, is what it looks like in those jars. Yeah, good on you. Hemp, industrial hemp, they're calling it, which technically is what it is under the Farm Bill of 2014 and what is probably going to be in the new Farm Bill. The new Farm Bill of 2018 that's being sheep herded through, is what somebody said. I think Daily Dope or read in an article, maybe, but basically the Hemp Farming Act of 2018, bipartisan, both leaders in the Senate have put it into the Farm Bill. It's going to deschedule industrial hemp, which is this stuff.
Nose in the tent.
This stuff right here.
The nose in the tent, guys.
So,
very exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting time.
Cool. So good on you, Tennessee. This week, we've got the hemp dispensaries in Murfreesboro. Great name, by the way. Great name of the city. Murfreesboro.
Oh, Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I think they were Murfreesboro. Apparently they got some good hemp CBD plants flowing through that place. So that's good. That's cool.
Prices are like.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't see any prices on those. So let's go to our next story. What's our next story? Georgia.
Yeah.
Is it Georgia? No, Alabama. We have protests. We have protests. We have a smoke out coming to Alabama, Birmingham.
Civil disobedience, y'all.
What
do you do?
Let's see. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see what they're doing in Alabama.
Stay with us.
James, we'll see in a few minutes. Smoke up or burn out. A pro-marijuana group plans to bring 1,000 stoners together to smoke publicly in Birmingham July 17th. ABC 3340's Andrew Donnelly worked his way through the haze of this story today and spoke with the leader of this group. Andrew?
Well, Chris, this group says they're rolling up in protest, but police tell me the plan seems half-baked.
This is a protest, and I dare anybody to interfere with a protest.
Carlos Shavers, a member of the Decriminalize Birmingham Action Committee, says they're calling on stoners to show up and smoke out Birmingham, daring police to try and stop them.
If there's many more of us, they ain't taking everybody to jail. They may take some, and we're going to raise money, too, for the ones that do take to jail so that we can make sure that everybody is out.
Shavers says you have to light to fight.
Civil disobedience. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you have to sometimes.
Here's what they say they're expecting out of this. Medical use.
I have back pains out this world.
Prison reform.
Non-violent offenders that shouldn't be in prisons.
And eventually, he believes it will lead to full legalization and help stimulate the local economy. But if you decide to speak out by sparking up, you won't see Carlos there.
I hate answering this question. So, on July 17th, I won't even be in the country. Okay. I'll be in Africa, but I will also simultaneously be smoking cannabis.
However, he says members of the committee will be there smoking. Law enforcement tells us they'll be there too. If anyone gets too high, they'll give them a nice ride home. Now, Carlos says this is a BYOW event and they might supply rolling papers, but nothing else. I'm told the location will be announced day of. Live in the newsroom, Andrew Donnelly, ABC 3340 News.
I'm sure.
Up flash mob.
Yep, it's a. They're going to let you know where it is, and the organizer's not going to be at it because he has.
He's just a member. He's going to be out of the country.
I guess maybe the organizers don't want to be known who they are. And conveniently, he's going to be out of the country. I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with any wants or warrants.
I don't know about getting high in a foreign country.
But it sure seems like that's one of those, come on in and get your free TV. Just bring in your old parking tickets.
Right? Yeah, totally. Totally. That's so funny.
Bait and switch.
Yeah.
But they said if you're too high, they'll give you a ride. So.
Escort you.
Be interesting to see what happens. Alabama, working on it.
Yeah, I really don't trust Alabama cops to not arrest the entire group. I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't know. I believe in civil disobedience, but holy shit, you guys. That's crazy town.
Well, we'll figure out. We'll find out what happens.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, we'll find out what happens. All right, and now we move on to the Midwest.
Let's move on to the Midwest. In the interest of time.
Loads of.
You want to do West or Midwest?
Whichever you prefer.
Let's do
babe.
West first.
That's fine.
Because I want to start.
I love this one.
With, of course, we've all been watching Pele. Yeah. And we try to find little connections with cannabis in the stories as well, in the regular stories. And it turns out, even on the Big Island, there's a cannabis connection with Madame Pele. So let's check this out. It's been impressive. If you guys haven't been watching any of the video,
here you go.
It's pretty damn impressive.
Check this out.
Dale Altman and grandson Josh Doran live on a 5-acre plot atop a hill on Hawaii's Big Island by the erupting Kilauea volcano, where they grow medical marijuana.
Wait, no video?
They are the last remaining residents on Halekamahina Hill, after 2 lava streams sprouting from ground fissures completely cut off the community. Altman estimates they have $100,000 worth of marijuana they are harvesting. He says he doesn't want to leave behind his home and marijuana crop with no income and nowhere to live. At least atop the hill, the house is safe from the lava flows and fires.
Sorry, our mic was off. This is from Hawaii, Honolulu Civil Beat. Some video from nighttime video of the river of lava coming from Fissure 8 through Kapoho.
But the pot farm is safe.
But Pele is apparently saving the pot farm.
Protecting the pot farm.
Protecting the sacred plant.
Protecting Pakalolo.
Protecting Nice. Well done.
Pele is protecting Pakalolo.
It's good. Good to hear. It's pretty amazing what's going on out there. I was trying to find a little more. Oh, here, let's look at this.
Something like you showed me earlier today?
Yeah, here.
With some context? That quick moving. Yeah, there you go. Little.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, my God. Look at this video.
We're digressing a little.
I know, but we're high, so now
No, it's okay.
Look at that river.
I don't know. You keep moving.
That's a river of
shit,
lava.
You guys. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Flowing like 2 miles down to the sea. Pretty amazing.
Oh, my God. There's like 250 new acres of Big Island now.
Oh, is that what it says?
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. So, okay, Pele protecting the Pakalolo.
So amazing.
Thanks, Pele. Let's go see what else is happening on the West Coast.
All right, West Coast, Best Coast. What do we got?
Well,
remember, this is the one I didn't see.
This is true.
This is the one I didn't do my homework on.
I think I organized this one.
Oh well, that'd be good, since I didn't see it.
But we're just gonna roll through it. How about that?
Okay.
We're gonna roll it.
We're gonna roll it, and we can take some notes.
Except it's muted. Hang on.
It's Colorado. All right.
Starting in Colorado.
Here we go.
Starting in the West.
And
coverage of Colorado continuing now in Pueblo County, where drug detectives busted a major illegal marijuana grow. They found 56 plants in the basement of an upscale home in Pueblo West.
Who cares?
Pot's worth nearly $100,000. 2 years ago, another illegal grow was busted in the same home. No arrests yet in the most recent case, but investigators are still getting warrants to search other homes, too.
Annual meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors is happening in Boston, and joining us live.
Boston.
How do we go to Boston? Because this is the Denver mayor. That's why.
Okay, go on.
That's why. Okay. It's happening. The Conference of Mayors is happening in Boston, where they jumped on board with the governors about descheduling marijuana. So
oh, really? Go on. Let's hear.
Yes. So this is the Denver mayor talking about that.
Mayors is happening in Boston, and joining us live from Boston is Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, a familiar face. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Good morning, Britt. Good to hear your voice.
Good to see you. So many people may be wondering what happens there at the conference. Can you update us?
Sure, 250 mayors from all over the country, rural, suburban, urban, Democrats, Republicans come together to share best practices, to talk about critical issues like infrastructure, housing, cybersecurity, immigration, so that we can go back better equipped to help govern our cities.
And you had to deal with marijuana and the legalization of it really early on here in the scene of things. And I understand that you're part of a coalition that may be pushing for federal marijuana regulation with other mayors. Can you talk more about that?
Thanks for asking about that, Britt. I, along with a coalition of mayors across the country, proposed a resolution here in Boston at the U.S. Conference of Mayors to create a coalition called Responsible Government for Cannabis Policy. We introduced the resolution. It passed out of committee. It will be voted on today by the conference as a whole. And I'll leave here this afternoon and go down to Washington and begin to work on really pushing the values and the tenets that we laid out in that resolution around updating the very archaic and behind, if you will, federal policies that are now hampering 46 states that have implemented some form of legalized marijuana, whether medical or retail, like Denver, including Guam, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. And so this is really about creating a more focused and a more coordinated approach by mayors all over this country to push for more sensible regulations out of Washington.
What other topics are you all discussing?
Pretty much nothing else that we're interested in at this point.
But I like
But
that.
thanks, Brett.
Yes, let's band together and deschedule marijuana. I'm not sure that that's what they're going to do, but I'm for that.
Well, these are these aren't just Western states and Western governors and Western mayors, but primarily they are. And also this week in the news over there in Nevada, we're going to jump to Nevada, and we're going to see what the governor over there has to say about being on board with the governor's letter.
A new wave of marijuana support from a bipartisan group of governors, including Nevada's own Brian Sandoval. They're calling on Congress to ease the federal ban on marijuana and leave it up to the states. It is the big story tonight. Our Nathan O'Neill is live to explain. Industry experts say this could be a game changer.
Yeah, Marie, well, it wasn't too long ago that Nevada's entire marijuana industry was operating underground. But now that it's been legal for about a year now, many people here in the industry here, they are hoping that they are on the cusp of getting some federal relief.
Cannabis has a 2,700-year history.
This Las Vegas dispensary pays tribute to its underground roots.
The underground is basically the first cannabis farmers market in the country.
But when the Justice Department rolled back federal protections on state marijuana programs, John Mueller says his business took a hit.
And all of a sudden funding freezes up, employment starts freezing up, everything in the industry starts basically seizing as it would in any industry.
But now a new federal bill called the States Act aims to ease the federal ban on marijuana and leave it all up to the states. President Trump pondering this major shift on pot.
We're looking at it, but I probably will end up supporting that.
A dozen governors are now backing the bill, including Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, who opposed legalizing pot. This bipartisan letter to Congress saying, quote, "Our citizens have spoken. We are responding." The governor's also seeking to relax the federal rules on banking, which forces cash-only operations, which Mueller calls both a burden and a risk.
I think by opening this back up and having the full support of our U.S. Congress and God willing, our president, I think it's going to change the entire game for the industry.
And also happening today, mayors from 6 cities are now calling on the federal government to remove marijuana from its list of dangerous drugs. Part of that coalition includes Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman. Reporting live tonight, Nathan O'Neill, the CW, Las Vegas.
You guys, making America great, just not the way they thought. It's fantastic.
Everybody's coming out of the woodwork, man, about their issues. Oh wait,
the mayors and stuff.
I'm having some broadcasting issues, but I'm back to green. Yeah, that's pretty wild. You know what? God, are they throttling us already? Is net neutrality already over?
Yes, it's over.
Is it over? But that's pretty cool, man.
That's amazing.
You know, everybody's pushing, man. It's pushing 5 to 10 years. I'm on the 2 to 5 year plan. I'm on the 2 to 5 year wagon.
Yeah.
Because look what's going on in Utah.
This exciting news to share with all of our.
Let's we don't need that whole part. Let's get to the meat of it.
Utah, that's going to vote on it.
It's going to vote on it, and
another place where you can put your political ideals to work by jumping in on campaigns to.
And obviously,
yes.
the talking points of chronic pain are circulating.
Except not apparently to Dr. doctor? Senator.
We've got the big shot there at the Tribune for
Oklahoma.
our first time in this partnership. Jennifer Napier
Langford.
Pierce, the editor. Jennifer, so good to see you. We're thrilled with this partnership.
Oh, thank you, Max.
And
This
what's
is
your
so
first
much fun
story?
for us, and we're excited to partner with you as well. I think it's going to really serve the community as a whole with our in-depth reporting
She gets high.
and having your video streams, and it's all going to come together in a very nice complement.
Oh, yeah, and the Tribune, it's just a proud thing to be a part of a really important organization like the Salt Lake
He doesn't
Tribune.
get high.
So I do want to, I want to get to this story. And first of all, let me give credit to Taylor Anderson. Now, we wanted to talk to you in this first interview, but he wrote this wonderful story Sunday about medical marijuana and the primary reason people ask to use it. And what is that reason? Because we have this initiative coming up.
Right. We do have an initiative coming up in November, and again, it's for pain. The overriding reason that people give to apply for a medical card in the 30 states that allow medical marijuana is pain, chronic pain from disease, from Alzheimer's, from cancer, you name it. Pain is the overriding theme there.
Okay, she said pain about 18 times.
You should send this clip to
I think she
Langford.
she said pain 29 times.
All she said was pain.
Oh,
Pain, 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 pain.
But
pain, pain, pain,
howdy
pain,
doody, Langford thinks they're just getting high. Continue. Lady who gets high in Utah.
And just to pound that point home, we have a graphic that you created at the Tribune that Taylor put together the information for. We want to show our viewers that shows just how many in all the states, about 30 that allow marijuana recreationally or medically. We just look at those states surrounding Utah. 93% in Colorado, 88 Nevada, 87 Arizona.
Utah's getting surrounded.
That is the reason. It's chronic pain.
Chronic.
Is at least a reason people are asking for marijuana.
So let's look at that map that the Salt Lake Tribune and the lady who smokes weed has put together. I don't know it to be true, but I'm just guessing.
Did you see what Vegan Metro said about the other guy?
No.
He doesn't get high, but he's deep into S&M.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I believe it.
And coffee, but don't tell his church. His
church knows.
This is, look at those numbers. This is what people use for medical marijuana. 93% Michigan, pain. Colorado, 93% pain. Oregon, 88% pain.
Wow. This guy.
Pain.
Howdy doody.
Langford
is really
Out of
needs to
touch.
be replaced.
So what's the concern? Why are people worried? Isn't it good
Why?
that it's
Yes,
that
good
it helps
question.
with pain?
Well, there are many studies that show that marijuana does alleviate pain. However, some people are afraid of...
There are what?
There
are
Wait
what?
a second. Senator Howdy Doody just said there aren't enough studies. I gotta play his video now. No, but he said
We've already paid it.
how many. I didn't play it, but he
Oh,
said
you didn't?
there are no studies. They need more study. We're gonna play it. This is after.
Okay.
I'm just
Right
gonna
after this, we'll play it.
We're continuing.
Right
the
after
addictive
this.
nature
Continue.
of it. They're also afraid that it's going to be too broadly available to those who say, they go into their doctor and they say, hey, my shoulder hurts. Can you give me some medical marijuana? And
Or some Ativan, or some Percocet, or some well, you know, some of the ones you see on commercials, or whatever else they fucking tell you to go in and to ask your doctor if it's right for you.
doctors
I
are
don't
just going
think
to be
they advertise
throwing this out
opioids.
without due consideration.
An easy thing to claim. They're saying kind of that anybody could walk in and get a marijuana card, possibly.
Anybody could complain to their doctor about some
that
issue.
They're in pain.
Their pain, and they don't want to take your fucking poison.
God damn it. These people.
So on the flip side, though, chronic pain, you profiled a man in this story who was using medical marijuana in the state of Washington and then moved to Utah, and what happened?
His name is Nathan Fraudsham, and Taylor talked to him. He is one of the advocates for the medical marijuana initiative here in the state of Utah. Like you said, he lived up in Seattle. He's got this chronic condition. It's quite debilitating. He said that marijuana was able to take the edge off so that he could function. And basically, when he moved to Utah, he really had to give that up. And so now he's on low doses of Percocet, but those are opiates. And so when you have an opioid epidemic like we're experiencing in the United States, I mean, that does cause some concern for him and for many others.
Yeah, it is a big concern and a really great report. So we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
We appreciate you taking your time from your investigation into cannabis. Utah debating chronic pain and finding with their investigative journalism
many studies and pain
surveys.
Pain.
Even in Utah.
I think I need more because my butt's starting to hurt from sitting here for so long.
Copy that. Well, we're going to move into California.
Wait, no, you were going to play Howdy Doody.
Sandoval? Okay, or not Sandoval.
Howdy Doody's, it doesn't treat
all right,
pain.
I'm playing it. Here it is.
Sure you didn't play that already?
I did not play Langford. Here he is. We're going to play it.
The vote for medical marijuana. I know you have been very vocal about this one too, and this is coming up in the June primary, June 26th. You've come out and said you're very opposed to this, and you said, quote, this would be harmful to the social fabric of Oklahoma. Are you opposed to medical marijuana completely, or is it the specific language of State Question 788? Because there's people in different camps there.
There are. So I'm not opposed to medical marijuana when it's the derivative. So, for instance, we see CBD shops popping up all over the state because CBD is a derivative of marijuana, but it's in pill form. It's in a medicinal form that's set up, and it's a controlled issue. That's already legal in Oklahoma right now. A lot of people are saying, well, we have to be able to do this to be able to get legal. We're not. We already have legalized marijuana to have CBD here. Now, what people really want to know is, can I smoke it to be able to get that? The FDA has been very clear. In fact, in the last 3 years, the FDA has done $750 million in studies on medical marijuana, and they are still consistent to say they find no indication of medical benefit to smoking marijuana. I have no issue when it's a pill form and taking the derivatives out, but this state question is not about using the pill form. It's about allowing people to smoke it. And it's not just allowing people to smoke it for medicinal purposes. They can have any purpose. They can say I have a headache. They can say I have any other form. They can say my left toe hurts every other Thursday. They can go to a veterinarian, a doctor, a chiropractor, any number of medical people of any type, a dentist, whatever it may be, and they can write a script. So I would assume the day after the vote, if this passes, there'll be all kinds of places online that you can say, you can pay this doctor $50. He'll write you a script for any purpose. You get access to all the marijuana you want to have or to be able to grow. The other issue for me is we have all kinds of issues in Oklahoma right now. We have all kinds of struggles. I don't see how any of them get better if more parents and more grandparents are smoking more marijuana. I don't see our education's better. I just don't see our state's better. More people smoking more marijuana.
Have you ever dealt with chronic pain or seizures? And I'm sure you've talked to your constituents and so many Americans across the country who are saying, this saved my life or my family's life. And what do you tell those people?
Yeah, so let me split a couple of those issues. Marijuana is not used for anyone on chronic pain other than just getting a high and trying to escape from the pain.
Fucking moron. I'm sorry. You're so ignorant. It's so difficult to take.
Except for
it made me explode.
Except for 93% of the marijuana users in Colorado and in Michigan and in California.
Yeah. You tell them, Dave. That's what I meant to say, but I got all crazy.
But wait, there's more.
So there are folks that are saying they'll drop opioids to be able to shift to marijuana, but marijuana is not used for pain. It's used for the high, and it's used for other purposes. As far as the seizures, absolutely. There's gel forms, there's pill forms, there's other ways to be able to deliver those same things without having to be able to smoke it and get all the negative effects. American Cancer Society, the Medical Society, the Hospital Society, all of them come out and say smoking marijuana is not a medicinal delivery. There are other ways to get the derivatives of that and to be able to do it in pill form, gel form, other ways. but not smoking it, because there's so many negative things that come with that as well.
So you think this is just a clear bridge to making recreational marijuana legal? And if that were the case, and if this really is happening, how long
this guy.
until recreational marijuana were to be legalized?
Well, I would say only
truly happening.
This is a recreational marijuana question.
Bridge it right
There's
here.
been no other medical marijuana question in the entire country that is as open as this one. This one is open-ended for any purpose, for any medical professional of any
As
type
it
can write
fucking
your
should
script,
be.
and you can get access to what you want and to be able to grow your own.
Incel.
So this really is a recreational question being couched as a medical question. If it was really a medical question, even beyond the CBD, which is already legal in our state, if it was really a medicinal form, I would be supportive of it. But that's not what this is.
Medicinal form is code for pills.
Yes, that's exactly what that is. And technically, he's suggesting illegal activity. It's federally illegal, even in that form that he is suggesting. So why don't you do something about that? You better do something about that up there on the Hill. Howdy.
Hi, John Kennedy.
John Kennedy, veteran here. I dropped VA opioids treating chronic pain for pot. Have to pay for it, but it can't kill me. You hear that,
Thank
Langford?
you very much.
Everybody,
Amen.
This guy is, he's a big oil guy. Langford looks like one of the actors on the show I'm working on.
I think we just can't find where he gets the pharma money, because you know.
But Mr. Howdy Doody and Torrey and Jeff Maxim on Facebook.
Hi,
yes,
Bob
indeed.
Hammond.
Welcome Facebook. Welcome everybody. All the new guys jumping in the chat here.
Yeah.
Thanks for your interaction. Yeah, it's infuriating. The amount of serious. I mean, it's obviously it's hasn't done the research that John Boehner has, nor any of the studies that apparently the Salt Lake Tribune has referenced, or any of the surveys of all of the veterans, similar to our to John Kennedy in our chat and across the nation in all of the medical marijuana states. You're crazy. You're crazy, and it's going to pass in Oklahoma. It's going to pass big in Oklahoma, and we're going to help it pass big in Oklahoma. State question 788 next week. We're going to dip into Oklahoma in every segment just because it's happening next week. State question 788. We had to dip into Howdy Doody's talking points.
It got us so
Sam
mad.
talking points. Sam is who is it? Daily Dope found out interesting observation that Sam is all over the Hill. Sam does opinion pieces on the Hill like daily. So that's one of the prohibitionist groups. So there you go. Langford being an idiot. Let's get back to the West Coast, where some more idiocracy is happening, as well as good things. In California, Fresno is looking at discussing opening up their business licenses, because, in California, it's legal, but it's not legal. Because you got to get local permits, and a lot of cities are banning it, where you can go next door, literally across the street, and be in a city that has legal cannabis. But Fresno City Council, they're putting it on there. They're looking at doing it, but we don't need to see a story about that. We see these stories every day about the cities, every week, about the cities debating that they're going to come on, they're not going to come on, they're going to bring it, they're going to ban it. Everybody comes to cannabis. Everybody comes to the money. The cannabis cash comes into the coffers, and not as fast sometimes as they would want it. It's so funny. Oh no, we don't want any of it, but why isn't it coming in faster? That's the question. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But let's talk about this. This was Chella found this to be very exciting. Something that we might indulge in here in California. And when we go on our travels for a wedding, we're going up to Reno.
Oh, yeah, this is fun.
So let's take a look at this story. CBS
I've
Sacramento.
seen some stories.
Did you see these stories this week?
I saw this one,
Okay,
yeah.
let's watch this one.
Why not open this up? The laws are changing.
Looking for a cannabis-friendly vacation rental? One listed in Placer County has some unique features. It's called a bud and breakfast, which means guests can get marijuana for booking a night stay.
We sent CBS 13's Drew Balea to check out the property and find out how they're able to operate in a changing legal landscape. And it's a story you'll see only on CBS 13.
It's all about privacy and relaxation.
Inside, it's all new everything.
All the comforts of home, full kitchen, comes with munchies.
A restroom and shower, sitting space. A bedroom loft is up the stairs. Chance, one of the owners, says the vacation retreat offers a unique experience. Built appropriately to be 420 square feet, this bed and breakfast is likely the first one in the state of California to be located next to a cannabis garden.
Cannabis friendly. At our place, you're actually on a working farm.
Erin Dean is also the property owner. She says dozens of bed and breakfast type rentals are popping up across the state, but none have access directly to the product.
Just stare out at the plants and enjoy the scenery.
A main feature of this stay is a welcome gift of up to 1 ounce of cannabis harvested from just outside the door.
We're allowed to share, so makes the world go round.
It's the legal amount someone can gift to another under Prop 64.
We're not allowed to sell.
Placer County has taken a wait-and-see approach to the legalization of recreational weed. No regulations are in place for the legal sale of cannabis, but Dean says she hopes for a path to retail sales in the future.
Things are going to be changing for a while. They're just trying to figure it out.
So for now, the owners of this retreat outside Colfax can share an educational experience with welcome gifts cut from crops only feet away.
We have a beautiful spot, and I know that when we have someone come and stay, they don't want to leave.
Now, Chance and Dean rent the property for $420 a night.
They've had a handful of visits since starting the rental only a couple months ago.
$420 a night, but you get free weed.
You get an ounce of weed.
Wait, an ounce?
Yeah. Hi, Phil Britton. No email notification.
What? YouTube messing with us. YouTube's been acting strange all day. That's in California, Torian Jeff Maxim. I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sure, on Facebook. Thanks for joining in and commenting.
Oh,
that is in California, in Sacramento area, Northern California. We are going to go there.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, we totally want to go there.
We gotta go there.
Totally want to go there.
I think this is the same.
We did not talk about PA today, right? There's no stories in PA, right?
Oh, we haven't gotten into the East Coast yet. I'm not sure if we have anything on the PA yet. I don't recall anything.
But East Coast is coming up.
But I like that idea. They comes with munchies, an ounce of weed, which you can give away. Prop 64 totally allows that. Under the law, an adult can give another adult up to an ounce of weed. That is the law. Perhaps I don't know if they give you an actual ounce, but
it looked like it.
It looked like it, right?
It looked like an ounce.
So there you go. That's pretty cool. We're going to have to look that place up. $4.29 is a bit much. Yeah, but you get weed.
You get a whole ounce.
Yeah.
As long as you can take your ounce with you, that's fine.
You know, that's a value of about, depending on your local price.
It's very high. It's a high price. I'll take another bite of that.
Yeah, we got our coconut vegan.
Yeah, vegan fudgy bar, sweetened with agave.
They're so good.
Uh-huh.
But we had to get a little munchy going on. Was that Placer County? Was that it?
Yeah.
Yep, Placer County. Placer County. Is this the same story?
Yes.
It's all about privacy and relaxation.
Inside, it's all new everything.
Same story.
Yeah, I'm having a hot flash.
Well, you eat that chocolate bar.
No, I need to get a fan on.
We're gonna take our show on the road. We're gonna get an RV.
Listen to us.
We're gonna RV and we're gonna travel to Nevada.
We're gonna be old people karaoke hosts while we do our virtual dementia tour.
Well, that's the retirement plan.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we need to do some type of a weed tour.
Oh.
Before that happens.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
And we just, of course, weed-friendly states only.
I need some more THCA. I have some, actually. Yeah?
So
you think that'll help with my hot flashes?
What's that, THCA?
I'm going right now.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool. There's some over there.
I'm going to go get it. You didn't put it in the cat's mouth, did you?
Like the marijuana industry didn't know this was coming. Marijuana growers, distributors, and sellers were notified 6 months ago about state regulators. Will this mean that marijuana lab companies can expect a backlog of tests in the coming weeks?
No one's entirely sure. We definitely expect there to be a backlog, and a lot of our clients are beginning to test now in earnest.
Testing of marijuana by SC Labs can take a few days to complete. The California Bureau of Cannabis Control have required testing for molds, pathogens, and consistent potency. Companies that are testing now shouldn't expect problems.
People who producers who expect to just show up July 1st and have us be able to test everything, I'm talking kind of collectively as a testing industry, are going to be in trouble. The people who are testing now and will have a lot of their inventory on hand, ready to go, July 1st already testing, will be at an advantage.
It could lead to some marijuana supply shortages and even price hikes. But for others like Kind People's, it's going to be business as usual because they've been preparing for months.
I'd say on a scale from 1 to 10, about a 2 or a 3 at this point, because really over the last 6 months we've been working hard to make the compliance adjustments that the state has been requiring.
The test costs aren't cheap either.
Testing is about $1,000 per batch. A batch from a cultivator can be up to 50 pounds, but that's a pretty drastic change from where we were at this time last year.
Smaller operations might not have had the foresight to test and could suffer the consequences, which could mean losing their license or their pot.
Any retailer must destroy all the cannabis on July 1st that's in their inventory that hasn't been tested, and then they can only purchase from distributors cannabis that's been tested.
With that July 1st deadline approaching, consumers could find some June cannabis blowout sales. Dan?
Thank you, Phil. We'll have to wait and see if there are enough labs to handle the volume of marijuana to be tested come July 1st.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's a price drop in the stores. I'm going to guess there isn't going to be. But maybe there will. Maybe they can, because that would be a real shame that they have to destroy everything that hasn't been tested. They're probably trying to.
That would be awful.
And you know what that means, though? The local market will be exploding, which means the price will drop on the local market with your little THCA bottle there. Mm-hmm. Taking up the advice. So that's fascinating. We do not have enough labs. If you want to invest in some company and a business, that would be a good one to invest in.
Be a lab?
Yeah. Labs that's like the number one deal. That and growers. But labs, and I didn't realize that was going to cover everybody. Not anybody who hasn't tested their weed on July 1st has to be destroyed.
Fuck that. I'm going to go to stores the week after
Oscar
next.
says, yeah, screw that. We ain't destroying any of that damn weed. It's going somewhere. I'm betting anything. But real jingy, as long as some lab that paid dearly for their lobby gets paid prior to going live with the goods. Yeah, exactly. They paid a lot of money for those licenses. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of states are having this problem. It's the same problem that Massachusetts is going to have. In July, one of the problems. They got a couple of them. Oscar coming down.
He's all freaking out.
Oh, the big jump. Oscar made the big jump. All right, let's move on. Let's move through. Let's do this. This is we like the health stories. Mm-hmm. Ted Lieu, just to report, was at the grand opening of our Venice MedMen. And was part of that big.
He loves his California weed.
Ted Lieu loves his California weed. He's very proud of his California weed,
as he should be.
And the green rush that's going on. And MedMen, of course, is the Starbucks of cannabis.
Apple Store, Starbucks,
planting their seed, their flag. So you can watch that video on DC420 LA. I'll post all of these playlists in there in today's show, so you can go through that. But in the interest of time, there's so much news every week. Let's talk about cannabis care and cannabis cures. We like those stories, people, because that's where we get them, folks. That's where we get them. We get them where personal stories of good health, of cures, of reversals of disease, of great attitudes, of happiness, of distraction from pain, from real relief from pain. Who cares what you want your weed for God's sake? Nobody ever died from this plant.
Unless they were crushed.
Unless they were crushed by a bale
falling on them
in Mexico, or the one flying over Donald Trump's wall. You see, Donald Trump's wall will cause more cannabis death.
That's right. A cannabis death. Yeah. The first cannabis death. Okay.
Here we go. Let's, as our network is challenging us, as YouTube network is challenging us, you're a spectrum of death. I'm high. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Here we go. Where we were talking about? Screw Ted Lieu. Let's talk about seniors getting a primer on cannabis use.
That's the one.
Yes.
At noon, seniors were invited to Yolo County Library this morning for a presentation on how to use cannabis to treat common conditions and diseases. Elisa Becerra has this story.
So we're here at the Davis Library, where the discussion topic today is cannabis medicine for the senior community. We spoke with several seniors to see what they thought about it.
It's just that I want to know more about it.
I'm a long 60-year user, and I have seen no ill effects. There was a giant study out of UCLA several years ago that indicated they could find no link at all between weed and lung cancer.
The discussion centers around what's available now that marijuana is legal and what seniors need to know about pain management.
As availability of cannabis medicine increases, we want to do our best to limit any negative effects someone might have by just simply not getting the education that might be required. There's a lot of options when it comes to administration, the ratio that someone might use that works best.
And while many of these seniors could not have imagined the day when marijuana was legal, they certainly couldn't have imagined all the various uses available to them. Back to you.
Cannabis use in California now piquing the interest of senior citizens.
We refer to it as adult use because most are coming in for sleep or pain or inflammation, something like that.
I think that was the second evening story from the same station, but basically covering the same, in two of their news blocks. These tend to be these tend to show up as their top story, right? On all of these local syndicated stations.
Everybody wants to know about weed. It's awesome.
Local, it says real jingy. I'm going to go there when DC 420 LA goes there. I'll be providing some humor. Laugh out loud. My local ounce is $300. See? That's a good deal, 420 a night. You get an ounce of weed. Pay chat zap. Phil's struggling. The pirate ship is struggling out there, Phil. You keep up the good work, but we thank you. We thank everybody for joining us for DC 420 LA, the Week in Weed. We do this show every Sunday at 420 Pacific.
Yeah.
From the great state of California, where it is legal for adults over the years of 21 to indulge, imbibe, and otherwise use the sacred plant known as cannabis sativa. And we're going to roll through some more news. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, get notifications for when we go live. Also on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook. Thanks, Facebook viewers. Cello's over there chatting too. Cello's got the chat down, man. You're rolling through those chats in all the different platforms. And Phil Britton, he broadcasts us over pirate radio, 100 watts from his RV somewhere across the nation. So we thank you for doing that also, Phil. And we'll be back on D-Live next week. Hopefully they'll have their network back up and running. But we're also there on the Steemit blockchain community. So we thank you all for joining us here on DC 420 LA. Do whatever you got to do. Like, subscribe, share if you like the content. We love the content. We love the cannabis. And when you recreate, you medicate. Free the plant, free the people. Pot for peace. It's not the end of the show. We're just moving on to the next block. No, we're not done. But we had an ice cream bar, so our munchies have been assuaged for the moment. As we continue to talk about...
You got 7 minutes.
I got 7 minutes. All right, we better move into our next block. We're moving on from the West. We're going to move into... let's move into the East Coast. We got some East Coast people. Oh, Midwest. Yeah. We're going to move across the country. Let's do Midwest.
We didn't do the Midwest?
No, we didn't. We only have very few stories in the Midwest this week.
We got to do the Michigan stuff.
Yeah, let's go into Michigan. Let's Daily Dope's not in the chat. I don't know what he's been. He did a nice little compilation from the Michigan Cannabis Cup.
Yeah.
The High Times Cannabis Cup 2018 in Michigan. Did a nice little compilation, about 20 minutes. Gonna play a little bit, maybe visually over this young lady and what she had to say about the Cannabis Cup and her love of cannabis. This is the Dabbing Granny.
Dabbing Granny.
What you got to say, Granny?
Yes, kudos to all the vendors, all the people that have turned out in this Michigan weather.
It's been raining, but we all have smiles on our face. We're all hugging each other.
Even though the cop is
high time here.
And on the legalization, what do you think about the potential for that in Michigan? And how do you think it might change, the culture?
It definitely will change a lot of things. In Colorado, we go seed to sale, so it is tracked. And unfortunately, with legalization, you give up a lot of things, like a festival like this. As far as the vendors all having their wares out, other than ancillary merchandise like what is to the right of me, but actual selling medicine, you won't have that any longer. That kind of stuff ceases. One of the things I always tell people when your state is getting ready to pass, make sure you look in those laws for a place where you guys can get together. We have bars for people that like to drink alcohol. Why can't we have clubs? Like in Colorado, they outlawed all our clubs. There's a couple of them that are still going, but it's really, really hard to get a club, and that shouldn't be. So that's something I tell everybody, pay attention to that, because we should have a place that we want to gather and consume responsibly, just like anybody that would be drinking alcoholic beverages.
And the first place Cannabis Cup award in the 2018 Michigan High Times Cannabis Cup goes to Pineapple Chunk Sauce by Herbal Solutions with Element Extraction.
We have a sweep. Let's hear it for Herbal Solutions with Element Extractions. Winners of Best Hybrid Concentrate for Pineapple Chunk Sauce.
People in the crowd tonight, Sativa people.
Ludicrous.
Oh, Ludicrous on the stage.
What if all my indica people that in the crowd tonight?
Oh, a lot of indica people.
Hey? What if all my indica and sativa people that in the goddamn crowd tonight? What if all my edible and smoking leaf and vape motherfucking every goddamn thing that you can get on?
Yes,
do it all.
And the first place Cannabis Cup award in the 2018 Michigan High Times.
Because that's just a little piece of Daily Dope's nice compilation. He spent the day out there, of course. He's near the Flint area, and highly recommend you go check out his video. And Dab and Granny from Colorado there talking about they are getting a vote on it. They get to vote on it in November over there in Michigan. Going to be the next state to legalize it in Cannabis 2018. So I'm sure we'll get many more. He has a couple of good. Check out the Daily Dope. He covers Michigan really well, as well as many other areas of cannabis all across the country and the drug war. So there you go. Let's continue in Midwest. This is we're going to continue in Michigan actually, and this is one of our stories that we love about how medical marijuana changes people's lives. And remarkably for their kids.
Emotional testimony today from a mother who says medical marijuana has improved her son's health more than she ever thought possible. It's our top story at 5. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Thompson. There's an ongoing debate over what medical marijuana should be used for. Today, the Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs and the Bureau of Medical Marijuana Regulation held a public hearing in Lansing. Our Dana White was there and is here for you now in the studio. Now, Dana, this is an emotional topic for many people, isn't it?
It is, Lauren. I spoke with one mother who says the use of medical marijuana has helped her son more than she ever thought possible. The purpose of this meeting was to give people a voice in their concerns over the need for certain medical conditions, including autism and anxiety, to be added to the list of medical conditions qualifying for medical marijuana treatment.
Do you need me to make a phone call? That's it! Stop, Jaden! Stop it now!
Before medical marijuana, Amy Carter had to calm her son Jaden at least 8 times a day.
He is going on almost a year with no encounters with the police, which was kind of a regular thing for us.
Jaden was diagnosed with autism when he was young, and Carter couldn't find the right medicine to work for him. But now after taking cannabis oil, Carter says Jaden is living a better life.
Now he's saying, hey mom, look at that bird. Isn't that a pretty color blue? He's communicating, he's talking about his future.
I've never been able to care about what's outside, what is life. And now I can actually see and feel what other people feel.
But Jaden isn't the only person who says medical marijuana has helped them. David Harns, who is the spokesperson for the Bureau of Medical Marijuana Regulation, says public hearings like these are needed to hear what the community has to say.
You can only do so much in writing, right? You can turn in all the documents and all the paperwork, but it's good to hear from those who turned in that paperwork.
As for Jaden's story, this mother says she'll continue to share in hopes that other kids get the same chance.
I still am in awe on how well it worked for Jaden, and I feel that other families need that same opportunity here in Michigan.
Today's meeting was only for public comment. The review panel will meet next Friday to review the petitions and vote to make recommendations on which medical conditions should be added to the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act.
Newark is going to be home to more.
Well, as we know, Governor Frackenlooper in Colorado, in his wisdom, vetoed the addition of autism.
Yes.
I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are not mistaken, but it looks like Michigan has an opportunity to add it to the list right now.
And I'd say that video right there
was
worth
huge.
Every frickin' study you wish you had.
That was a big deal.
Israel is doing amazing studies
with autism and cannabis. Yeah.
The communication that it creates, that allows the brain to create for these kids, is pretty remarkable in all of those studies, and that evidence right there.
Yeah. Well, all of us who use cannabis regularly know that it affects the brain and something's going on there, and we all know that. But to convince people who haven't had our experience is the hard part. So that's where we need to start thinking towards how to make that relatable to people who haven't been elevated. They need to understand that this is a real medicine and it has the ability to change lives, like with this young man, like with my mom.
That little doggy behind you.
That little doggy, not as dramatic as this young man. But yeah, this is a big deal. So share your stories. Share your stories. Share your stories.
Indeed. And so we move out of Michigan and we move into Ohio?
Yes.
For a quick story?
No, they're not going to make the thing. I don't
What's
care. That's the story in Ohio. They're not going to make the deadline.
Well, right, yeah, but this is
sure, whatever.
About Newark's.
You want to play it? That's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to cover Ohio.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to play one story in Ohio. It's a 2-minute story. It's not about, we know, they're not going to make the deadline.
Oh my God, you're going to make it a 5-minute story now.
Newark is going to be home to more medical marijuana dispensaries than Cleveland or Cincinnati. And that might sound odd considering the population differences in the cities. NBC4's Dan Perlman went to find out the reason behind that and how residents there feel about it.
Well, tonight this sits an empty lot, but soon a medical marijuana dispensary should sit here, one of 3 within just a few miles of each other here in town. As Jeff Anderson,
I love doing business here.
Locked up for the day.
I love this spot.
I took the chance to tell him about his soon-to-be neighbor in Newark. Did you know what's going in next door?
I had no idea.
The dispensary, the one that's coming to the lot next door. We also discussed the one coming down the road and the one a couple miles away, 3 in Newark. Compare that to 2 in Cleveland, 2 in Cincinnati, and 2 in Dayton.
It seems odd that we would have that many in this small population compared to the other cities.
So now I turn to Andy Joseph.
I am the CEO of Ohio Grown Therapies.
That's an LLC, now with a provisional license to operate the dispensary near Jeff's office. Andy also runs a company that builds equipment used in states where marijuana is already legal.
So the reason that you found 3 dispensaries all located in one small, relatively small city has nothing to do with proximity to anything or people or patients. It has everything to do with the friendliness of the community. And Newark was very open arms and supporting of medical marijuana.
And those 3 dispensaries will serve the state-drawn district covering 4 surrounding counties. As for Jeff,
and it wouldn't matter whether it would be the business next to me or either side.
Well, he is ready and happy to welcome the new neighbor.
Make sure customers treat everyone around them with a level of respect, and I think everything goes smooth.
And of course, construction here still needs to happen. Andy says he hopes to be up and running by the end of the year. Local for you in Newark, Dan Perlman, NBC4.
The headline.
but they're probably not going to be running up probably till November. They're going to miss their September deadline while these guys progress in Ohio. And they hope to have medicine in November. So they've got delays, as we move into our Eastern Bloc. Not a lot, no news from Pennsylvania this week. Of course, Pennsylvania has been reporting that they are trying to get smokable cannabis added to their medical marijuana list. That was sort of the big news of the last couple of weeks. So we do keep an eye on all of the stories on the East Coast that come through my news search. And we do grab them and throw them. We've had numerous Pennsylvania stories. So stay tuned. Get that subscription notifications and join us every Sunday. And you can also follow us. Go to DC420LA.com. You can go to Twitter on all the socials at DC420LA. There are so many stories. Twitter is primarily where I send them off on when I find them. But I also put them up onto a newsletter, which is sort of, evolving, right? We're evolving, we're growing, we're making changes, good things are happening. Evolving, the show is growing. Thanks to all of our new viewers. But they're at DC420LA.com, a Cannabis Chronicle. I try to update this every day around 4:20. If I'm working, sometimes that's challenging. But you can, the news I find, I post there, and there's a lot of news every week, so you can check on your Pennsylvania news there. And we'll keep an eye out for specifically for. We like to give our audience what they like. We took off the slow mode on chat.
That's right.
Because we don't have the viewers for it, apparently.
Nope.
So we're going to look for more Pennsylvania stories.
We have an Ohio viewer today.
In Ohio, very good. Well, there you go. You've got your.
You knew it was delayed, though. Just to be.
What's that?
Yeah, I was just telling our Ohio viewer,
that
Daniel.
He knew it was. Maybe he didn't know.
Evil Sizer.
Did you know that you're not going to get medical marijuana, Daniel, until November? Apparently, you're not. You learned it here on DC420LA. So thanks for watching.
Something tells me that Daniel
might be
found another way.
Akamai, as they say, and
his local store will be 30 minutes away.
Oh, see?
That's lame.
That's lame. Access, baby. Access to medicine. That's part of the problem.
Lame, yeah, access.
Part of the problem. Okay, let's move. Well, welcome, Ohio. We do have a lot of stories out of the Midwest and Ohio because of Michigan, and Ohio, of course, is they're trying to implement their system right now. So,
and the Cannabis Cup was this week.
Cannabis Cup was in Michigan. So there will be more Ohio stories, and there will be Pennsylvania stories in our Eastern Bloc, which we move into right now. Most of our stories coming out of Massachusetts this week, so we're just going to have a couple of them that are touching on some topics that we like to follow. Let's just look at their delay, because they're surprise.
Everyone's delayed.
They've got confusion too.
Yes,
recreational
Daniel
pot shops
knows.
may not open in Massachusetts next month.
Nick Giovanni has more on the holdup from the State House.
July 1st is the target date for legal marijuana shops to set up shop here in Massachusetts, but that date is now in doubt. This after there was a meeting held yesterday, but no licenses issued by the state's Cannabis Control Commission. The commission's chairman claimed regulators hope to start issuing licenses shortly, but also referred to the target date of July 1st as an arbitrary deadline, not a mandate. We have confirmed more than 50 applications have been completed and submitted for everything from marijuana retailers to manufacturers to research facilities. The chairman says the commission isn't going to rush through the review process, citing issues that have popped up in other states trying to meet a deadline to roll out legal pot industries. No inventory in place for one. Background checks incomplete. Those just a few examples. That said, the commission's not ruling out July 1st as the first day of legal marijuana sales in Massachusetts. Their response is that
beautiful
it
bud,
could be.
that picture.
We shall see with the next meeting set for next Tuesday. Reporting at the State
Doesn't
House,
smoke
Nick
weed,
Giovanni,
this guy.
WPZ News.
Nope.
This is Kathy Walsh, and I own Knock Knock social media marketing for the cannabis industry. And the reason I think this is really important is because it is about to explode, and the more information we have, the better we will be able to serve the community and the people that are coming to the Berkshires.
Representation of the kinds of activities that people enjoy here.
everything from sitting on the back porch to yoga. And I think these things will work pretty well after July 1, 2018, when Massachusetts joins a number of other states as what they call adult use or fully recreational cannabis state. A very substantial growth in this particular market.
So understanding how cannabis is going to, the recreational use of cannabis is going to affect staffing and drug screening and things like that is what really interested me.
What's your business?
I'm in IT staffing, a company called Fast Switch.
Oh,
how did you
plug
find
for Fast
beneficial
Switch.
of this event?
I found the information that was provided by the gentleman in the front about when things were going to happen and how things were going to happen. Probably most beneficial.
It gave me a broader insight as to who the users are and what will be coming in the future.
Buddy, I'm Erica with One Berkshire. We just helped co-host an educational session here. We're at Jimny Peak, and the session was run by Berkshire Roots, and it was a really interesting session. It was about canna tourism, and what we noticed was a lot of our members in the tourism industry, hospitality industry, were here, and Berkshire Roots presented some really fascinating information that I think everybody in the room was benefiting from learning about how these new regulations
the background.
Sativa fan. All right, that's enough. Sativa fan. This
God,
one.
it was getting loud.
Sativa fan.
Yeah, that's some hair, dude. That's some like trippy hair.
There's some excited people in
I'm
Massachusetts.
trying to grow out my
weed.
hair. It's not easy. It's not easy to grow out your hair when it's so short.
Meanwhile, while everyone is so excited about their marijuana, the man is trying to figure out how to arrest you.
Well, yeah.
You're out a year and a half.
Everyone's got their mission in life.
Police officer pulls over a suspected drunk driver in Massachusetts. The officer can use a breathalyzer to check if the driver is over the legal limit for alcohol. But for drivers suspected of being high on marijuana, there is no such test.
Time is obviously of the essence when pulling this together.
That's one of the issues this new state commission is trying to figure out a year and a half after voters approved making recreational marijuana legal in Massachusetts.
I think a lot of jurisdictions across the entire country are challenged by this exact issue.
Not only is there no breathalyzer for marijuana, there's also no legal standard for how much of the drug a driver can have in his or her body before being considered impaired.
There is no .08 equivalent for marijuana, for cannabis, so that's one of the things that we'll be looking at on this commission.
The state has already started running public service announcements reminding people that drug
Reefer
driving
Madness
is
announcements.
illegal. And according to AAA, after Washington state legalized recreational marijuana, the percentage of fatal crashes there involving marijuana use jumped from 8 to 17%.
Police can still ask a
suspected drug driver to walk the white line or touch his nose, but the state's highest court recently ruled officers cannot testify about whether they think a specific driver was high.
You don't want to put officers in that position on the street. They don't want to be bringing people into police stations that don't need to be there.
The commission will now start digging for data about what's
with the
happening
drunks.
on Massachusetts roads and report to the legislature by
Yeah,
January
we can all agree.
about how to make them drug-free.
I'd say stick with the drunks. Leave the cannabis smokers go.
We're like ex-smokers, man. We're so shitty to drunks.
I know. It's the Jimmy Dore bit, or the Vince Vaughn sketch bit this week is like, Thelma, you've never driven home after 2 glasses of wine, Jimmy.
Yeah, right? Right?
But no, I've dodged a few of those back in
yeah.
my day. Back in my heyday.
Well, you know,
pre-Cella.
in the chat, Vegan Metro is pointing out, as I'm sure we all are, that this panel of all older white people are going to sit down and come up with the rules.
That's right. That's right.
That always works out well.
And
right?
those statistics about Washington, you know, they didn't count the stuff before. They didn't count it, and they all still involve all of alcohol, all of them. There's no, you know. There's like minuscule numbers of only. I mean, that guy in Sacramento. Remember, they were all a month ago. We were reporting about the guy who was arrested for high driving.
Yeah,
killed that family because he was stoned.
Yep, they said
they let him go, and no files have been charged.
No charges have been filed.
There's been no news at all. It disappeared.
Like smoke.
Like
it went up in smoke.
Like a puff of this wonderful King Kong organic California
beautiful.
bud I'm about to put into this bowl.
Show
thanks
the
to
people.
ITSG.
Show the people the
in
beautiful California bud.
And speaking of availability, our store 2.3 miles away just sent out a notice that said, we'll deliver to you.
Free
for a $50 order.
Yeah.
Within 5 miles.
I think that's pre-tax.
That's probably pre-tax, right? Which makes it a $75
It's okay.
nut.
Bring me some mints and a couple lighters, and we got there.
One jar of mints, and you're good, right? Sorry, I stole the greens, but here you go.
Yes. Vegan Metro was wondering what we were smoking today.
Yes, we have. We've been getting King Kong regularly.
Wi-Fi.
We've got some. No Wi. We have Wi-Fi.
I thought those are Wi-Fi or those were King Kong.
We have that's Platinum OG and King Kong.
Well, I'll take two. Puff pass.
The joints were Platinum OG. I think Wi-Fi was last week. And then of course you have the TCA tincture.
THCA
tincture, and we have nice Blue Dream tinctures today.
I wish Donut Friend delivered.
As we can call Grubhub.
Vegan Metro. I saw your post about pot, the Egyptian restaurant, the Egyptian vegan restaurant.
Yeah, we gotta try
in Las
that.
Vegas, and I told Dave about it, and we definitely want to try it when we go to Las Vegas.
Sounds awesome. I haven't watched your video.
Very excited about it.
But that really sounds cool. Chella told me about that, and it's like, yeah, we delivered to PA. They won't. They won't. And no, but there are people that do ask that say, please send me weed. Here's my address. Do not send people weed from your house, particularly with a return address. But
never send us weed.
Do not send anyone weed through the mail.
No.
It's the quickest way to fuck shit up.
Yeah, don't.
They don't like it.
Don't.
FedEx, UPS, they get used. And the United Postal Service gets used too, but they don't like it when they find it for the deliverer or the deliveree. So, and also depending on really what state you're in. So yeah, don't send weed in the mail. But yeah, these guys are driving around.
But if you live in California and you want to come to LA, we can meet up.
Well, we have a service. We have Ease. Ease is a service in California whatever locality allows delivery, Ease delivers in, and they basically are like the Grubhub of weed, and they want to be the Amazon Prime of weed. That's their goal, their stated goal. So, yeah, exactly. And apparently we're going to be glutted with weed too soon here in California. So that's interesting with this whole lab thing. But there you go. Massachusetts going to be late in July. Ohio's going to be late for their September deadline. Michigan is going to vote in November. Oklahoma is voting this month in a primary election.
Guys, it's a primary. This could really happen.
In 8-9 days? A week from Tuesday in Oklahoma. Cannabis 2018.
This could really happen. This is a big deal.
It's on the ballot in so many states, in so many different ways.
I mean, listen, even if it does happen in Oklahoma, I fully expect it to be challenged in the courts and stuff, and it could be a thing. But it's a big deal. It could happen in Oklahoma. It could win in the election because so few people come out for those things.
I think that's entirely possible. Primary elections, you can do some very interesting things in primary elections that wouldn't happen in a general.
Yeah.
It might be a different political environment right now, but there's a lot of enthusiasm, and cannabis brings people to the polls. We've seen it every time. It wins.
Even though they make fun of us.
It gets people out.
Even though they make fun of us.
There's big pushes to get millennials voting. Everybody's trying to get them. Everybody's trying to get them out.
Well, still, keep pushing your millennial friends.
The Democrats are still giving the big finger to the working class. But
they're going to pot mostly.
They're going after pot mostly, but they're going after those millennials, boy. And millennials love weed.
It's so upsetting that the Republicans are more on board with cannabis than the Democrats. It's shockingly, I can't believe it's possible to still be shocked by the Democrats.
Oh, no, they never ceased to. It's like the Rams back in the day. You always knew they were going to blow it at the end of the season. They the gift that keeps on giving, as does the cuteness of Oscar over the Weed Nation network there. This is indeed, folks, that's going to do it, Chell. We're going to wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up for the show.
2 hours
That's
and
it.
20 minutes long?
I've got a MedMen.
Shocked.
I've got another Med. There's MedMen stories on the West Coast and the East Coast. Screw those
no,
guys.
play the
Corporate
Oklahoma,
cannabis.
the Oklahoma 788
Okay, we'll go out with the PSA, but let's say goodbye.
Goodbye, all.
Let's say goodbye to all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been DC 420 LA, the Week in Weed. Subscribe, get notifications. We do this every week on Sunday at 4:20 Pacific live on YouTube, as well as numerous other platforms, including Twitch. Our viewership over on Twitch is exploding. Facebook, Periscope, D-Live when their network is back up for the Steemit blockchain community. And follow us on all the socials at DC420LA. And of course, we're over on Weed TV, the Cannabis Media Network at weedtv.com. And look for us soon at Cannabis... Oh shit, I forgot the name of it because I'm stoned. CCTV.
Yeah.
Cannabis Club TV. That's what it is. I missed it
We got it.
because there's a Cannabis Culture TV. Cannabis Club TV. Look for us soon there on their platform in competition of YouTube, because YouTube has been FOing the pot tubers, even though they seem to be allowing them back. But Cannabis Club TV
Don't talk about it too much.
sees the opportunity there for cannabis broadcasters, and we're going to be on their new platform, as well as possibly seeing our small segments in some dispensaries in upcoming dates. So stay tuned. So good news there. Great news there. It's really great to be at the beginning of marijuana media, even though supposedly they're telling us no one wants to read about that anymore.
Crazy, right?
I don't understand.
So cool, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us. And
another great
have
show.
a great week.
New viewers, great conversation in the chat. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. We love you guys. Pot for Peace. Buy the Toys Music, TOYES. We love them. We use them. And we'll see you next week. Pot for Peace, everybody.
Yay!
Dinner time. Something's on tonight. Is it Westworld?
Come
Whatever
on.
it is. Good TV. Love you guys. See you next week.
Yay!
Oh, Zaka just jumped in.
No, he was there the whole show.
Oh, great. Thanks, Zox. I'm sorry. I'm glad you were there. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
The murderers keep murdering. The churches keep a-burning. The rapists keep a-raping. And the tide ain't turning. Uncle Sam, for all your power, things get worse every hour. It seems to me your energy's all wasted, chasing my friends and me. So hey, Uncle Sam, hey there, Uncle Sam, leave us pot smokers alone. Uncle Sam, leave us pot smokers alone. The terrorists keep terrorizing. Our leaders keep a-lying. The haters keep a-hating. And the planet's dying. Uncle Sam, do what's proper. Call off your dogs and your helicopters. The problems of society were not caused by my friends and me. So hey, Uncle Sam, hey there, Uncle Sam, leave us pot smokers alone. Uncle Sam, leave us pot smokers alone. How many innocent people gonna be imprisoned? We just peace and love and street pop and brotherhood freaks. A touch of Mother Nature never made nobody violent, never made nobody hate, nobody will break nobody's peace. It's never been shown to be harmful. Don't you tell me no lies with your caffeine, codeine, nicotine eyes. The cannabis ban is just recent, just since 1938 to legalize it, realize it. You made a big mistake. Hey, Uncle Sam, hey there, Uncle Sam, leave us pot smokers alone.
this drug is dangerous. You cannot play with it. It's not funny. It's not something to laugh about. And trying to send that message with clarity that good people don't smoke marijuana.
You know, going into this, prognosis was terrible. You're not going to live. The cancer's going to get you, or the treatment will.
I was diagnosed 10 years ago with lupus. It was a misdiagnosis. Shortly after, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
You know, I remember the last time that I was going to the hospital, and we stood in this living room, and we all cried, and we were hugging each other because I thought it was the last time that I would be in my house, and I would be hugging my family. And it's very emotional, and it's very stressful.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that you have to choose the health of your child